Toma, Laca.
I don't like your attitude, George. We'll get to it in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the morning show. The best way to start your weekend with us here. George is vibing. You can't see him. We'll get to him in a second. First, let me introduce you to my partner in crime this Saturday morning, Phil. Hey, Phil.
I salute you. What's
Live.
going on, guys? I'm back.
Live from studio.
Studio
Soon to
Phil.
be X Studio. We got big plans in the future.
Secrets.
So, Phil, welcome. Also, calling in from his bedside, Poseidon. What up? What up, Pussy the Don?
What's up?
Your camera changed again. We didn't have you full screen, but it's okay. And finally, the man with the plan, the news gentleman, it's George. George Adrizos. Hello, George.
What's going on, guys? How's everything?
We're good. We're enjoying the morning here. I want to hear more about the nonsense that you wish to talk about. So how about you give it to us quick? What's going on in the news today?
So we have national news, we got provincial news, and we got municipal news. So
Do we have any Pakistani news?
No.
I heard you did.
No, that was just a disgusting clip that I saw on Twitter, unfortunately.
Yeah, George has some really strange taste in porn. Anyways, go on.
No. So yeah, let's hit right in the middle there and hit the provincial news first. So this week, we all celebrated Quebec's national holiday, the Saint Jean-Baptiste Day. So for those who don't know, the 24th of June, all Quebecers celebrate in their own way. There's a huge parade in Montreal, hundreds of local festivities in the different municipalities across Quebec, and a major concert with some of Quebec's major artists that usually takes place in Quebec City.
Oddly enough, I was invited, and my guitar skills are mean.
Yeah. So this year, obviously due to the pandemic, there was no parade, there were no local festivities, but there was a concert that was organized without a crowd, of course, and it was broadcasted live for everyone to enjoy from the comfort of their home. So far, so good. Everyone is happy. But here's where things start going sour. So people start noticing that the Quebec flag is nowhere to be seen. It's completely missing from the stage, and Twitter just erupts.
Was it replaced with an Iranian flag?
There's no flags, zero flags. So Twitter catches on fire. And quite frankly, I got to say, I agree with the people's discontent. You know, this is Quebec's national holiday. We should all very proudly wave Quebec's flag.
I agree.
And it should most definitely be present during these festivities. The same way, very soon, we will be seeing lots of Canada flags waving on July 1st during Canada Day. However, here's what aggravates me. And this happens every single year while certain extreme separatist prominent figures, very often politicians, take advantage of politicizing this day. And it happened again this year. And, you know, I have to say, many separatist politicians came up publicly to rightfully complain about the flag missing. And that's fine. There's no problem there.
Good.
But cake goes to the moron of the week. And that's your friend Pantelis, former comedian and now aspiring Parti Québécois leader Guy Nantel. So this guy opens his big mouth. And
but here's the thing: he's not a dummy. He's a smart guy. He may have overreacted here,
I'm not saying he's a dummy, and I supported his move.
You just said he's the idiot of the week.
Yeah,
he is, but it doesn't. He's a complete moron. But
just
I'm not
for this
saying
week,
stupid guy. So he opens his big mouth and he starts going off, and
what did he say?
Went completely over the top. So here's what he said, and I quote. This is how a submissive people disappears by the gradual elimination of its symbols and its landmarks, end quote. And he also later during an interview said that this was simply a demonstration of, quote, the victory of multiculturalism over nationalism, end quote.
Okay, so two things though, so we don't forget that. So the first part, well, he is right. That is kind of how you lose it, is when you start disappearing your symbols, but I don't think they purposely disappeared this symbol. Exactly. That's the thing. So he is right about that's like saying this is how you start a fire, but you weren't trying to start a fire.
But it's taking advantage of a situation to make it political. And what's even more frustrating is how almost the entirety of Quebecor's media outlets all jumped all over this. And for an entire 48 hours since Wednesday, All we heard about was the missing flag and Guy Nantel's stupid comments. Okay?
You know what's crazy is I have not heard about any of this, and I follow Guy Nantel. I'm in Quebec, and I didn't hear about this until this morning when you brought it up. I had no idea.
If you follow TVA LC on TV or if
No,
you
I don't
listen
watch
to
any of that garbage. I don't watch anything.
so that's all that's been in the news. So let's get one thing straight, okay? Guy Nantel made absolutely no sense. The reason there was no flag was entirely due to the incompetence of the organizers, who themselves came out and publicly admitted their mistake and apologized for it. Okay, so I have never understood why, when, and even how we as a society have just allowed these separatists to appropriate symbols like the Quebec flag, the fleur-de-lis, and this national holiday as their own and for their own cause. Okay, these events are funded quite heavily by the Quebec government because it belongs to all Quebecers to feel proud about their culture, their identity, and their flag, irrespective of their political inclination. And I know Guy Nantel doesn't like it, but I, for one, am happy that we've banned the discours patriotique. That patriotic speech that was traditionally read during this festivities, because, and for having heard quite a few of them, they were flat out a brainwashing propaganda against Canada, federalism.
I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is either.
Federalist basically, there was a specific moment during these festivities, whether it was the big concert that was organized in Quebec City or the different local festivities around Quebec. There was a period where they would say different speeches, so they would have local politicians and whatnot, address the crowd. And that that segment was always finalized with this patriotic speech that was written, and everybody would read it. So basically, that speech was always, it always had like this separatist intonation, bashing federalists, bashing Canada. So
what do you mean? Like they would say a speech, they'd be like, "It's great here. Thank you for coming out. Trudeau's a faggot. Fuck Canada," and they would leave. Like that's kind of funny.
It was always a very well written text saying how Quebec should be an independent nation and how we've historically been conquered by the Canadian whatever, all these nonsensical things. Okay, but and just to close this up, just to close up the topic. Okay, it's unfortunate for Guy Nantel because one, he decided to open his mouth and take advantage of an event, of a situation, just to gain political capital. And this is what frustrates me.
That's a smart move. That's a smart move, bro. I would have thought he was dumb if he didn't take advantage.
What if he was just pissed?
What if he was actually angry?
Yeah, but you have no reason to be angry. Find out first why there was no flag, and then say whatever you want.
Oh, that's what you mean. You mean instead of going straight to the internet to bitch like a fucking bitch, which everyone does, you wanted him to actually... This is Guy Nantel we're talking about. You actually thought he was going to do due diligence. I'm going to make a phone call to the fucking organizer.
Well, Phil, I don't think you know who Guy Nantel is. Because like I said, this is Guy Nantel we're talking about. I don't know if you know who he is.
I know who he is.
Smart man, and I love everything that this guy's done, okay?
He's very smart,
But here's the thing, and I'm not only looking at Guy Nantel. There's another 3 people running in the race of the leadership of the Parti Québécois.
Yeah.
None of them came out to say exactly what he said. They all did come out to some degree saying, where's the flag? Oh, it's unfortunate. It's a great concert, but unfortunately we don't see a flag. They all made reference to the flag missing, which is fine.
Okay, he doubled down.
But come on, man. The fact that you're a submissive people and you're disappearing because the evil Anglos and multiculturalist communities are taking over you. What the hell does that mean?
So who ran the concert? Was it some kind of
this is the Mouvement National Québécois or something like that. It's called. It's a separate independent organization that is flooded with separatists. Okay, and I said
they
before,
forgot to put a flag up.
That's awesome.
Exactly. So that just goes to show you how stupid his comments are, because it's not Canada that organizes this. There isn't one single federalist, and I can bet anything. There isn't one single federalist that sits on any of these organizing committees of the Fête Nationale, which is sad because, like I said before, the Fête Nationale belongs to all Quebecers, regardless of your political inclination. Okay, but that's how it is. They have unfortunately appropriated all these things as if it's theirs, right? The Quebec flag belongs to separatists. The French language belongs to them. The Fête Nationale belongs to them suddenly. And it's not only now. We've been seeing these year after year.
I'm confused about what you're so angry about.
Yeah, you're very angry.
No, I'm just like, it's the Fête Nationale. The province is not a nation state. It's not.
No, I know.
So of course it's appropriated by the separatists.
But
It
why?
makes
Why?
sense.
No, it shouldn't make sense.
If
I'm sorry.
if you're Quebecois and you like living in Quebec
Yeah.
and you're pro-federalist, like you're a federalist and you want to be a part of Canada, why would you why would you celebrate a separate national holiday?
But
Like
it's not. But it's
your argument is dichotomous. It doesn't make sense.
no,
You're
no.
arguing
No, no,
yourself.
you could sell. There's Alberta Day. There's
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
celebrate your
It's not.
Yeah,
Ontario
but
Day.
those aren't national holidays.
No,
This
no,
is
no,
a
no. We
national
are
holiday.
Yes, it is.
linguistically.
Every
Yes,
province
it
has
is.
a national holiday.
Yeah, we just
No, they are provincial holidays. They are
Okay.
not national
okay.
holidays.
Just
call it national
linguistically, we
holiday
just call it.
because-
Yeah, the French. That's how they call it. It's just
You know what I mean?
linguistically.
The French. The
I
French
think you guys, that's not semantics. They call it that for a reason.
No, because in French, when you call when you say la nation québécoise, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean the English equivalent of the nation and
Yeah, yeah,
independent.
exactly.
It means just a distinct society,
Exactly.
which I happen to agree with because
Yeah.
I do believe that we're different in Quebec.
Me too.
It doesn't mean though that it's a separatist holiday. You know what I mean? I've celebrated every year. I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm
a
happy
separatist.
for Quebec Day
I
every
don't
every
know. I
year.
think you celebrated it because you were working in government and it was your job.
No, even before, we would always go up north with a bunch of buddies and we would have beer and we would go to the beach and swim.
Did you have
and it was
flags?
Fun. No, we didn't have flags, but we did.
Well,
celebrate.
George.
We didn't have
Come
flags.
on.
We just didn't have flags. But here's the thing about Guy Nantel. He was even criticized from other separatist politicians for using this holiday for political and capital,
Like he overreacted.
political capital and visibility,
That's fine.
for his excessiveness, and even for confusing Louise Arel, who is a former elected official in the Parti Québécois, a very prominent figure in the Parti Québécois. She came out and even said that it's unfortunate that Guy Nantel is confusing inclusion and multiculturalism. Like these are heavy things, you know.
Okay, so you know what? Hearing what you have to say, it does seem like Guy Nantel overreacted. Definitely.
Slightly.
Especially when, because I misunderstood when you first started talking. I thought that like there was some kind of event where they decide, okay, let's take down the flags, but it just sounds like the organizers, who has me playing in the background, but it just sounds like they, just the way they organized it was just they forgot the flag. You know why? Probably because they're used to having people. So in their head, they're like, yeah, everyone's gonna have flags like every other year, but then they didn't think like, no, it's just us in a studio, stupid. Like it's just us on stage. Like we have to bring a flag.
Look, their explanation was that they had very limited time to organize this because they weren't even sure if they were going to organize anything because of the pandemic. So they just had a couple of weeks to put things together, and this is the best thing that they came up with. They rounded up some of Quebec's most popular and best artists to perform,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Okay, you know what? I'll accept it. I will. Personally, I accept it.
Also.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of silly though because if you walk into any store like I don't know 2 weeks before Saint Jean, like literally all the decor for this holiday is Quebec flags.
Yeah, but Phil, it's if you're not thinking, you're just thinking of the you're just thinking of the filming. You know what I mean? You're not thinking.
But they had decorations. They just didn't have flags.
Yeah.
They said that there were
Kind of
flags,
funny.
but they weren't on stage. But they did have flags. Where did they have the flags? Maybe I don't know, around the streets. I don't know. I don't know. Where the flags
I just
were,
think it's.
By the
funny
way,
'cause
Phil,
if
your
you're-
mic is fucking up again. It keeps sending us distorted. Yeah.
Fuck you, Mike.
Anyway, all right.
Anyways,
let's head over
next
to,
story.
Our national news. So, in the last couple of years, the relations between China and Canada have taken a turn for the worse, especially since Canada arrested Huawei's CFO Meng Wanzhou back in 2018 and began extradition proceedings to the U.S.
We
So
arrested
almost
an entire zoo.
Yeah, so almost immediately following that arrest, Chinese authorities arrested 2 Canadians in China, Michael Kovrig, who was on leave from Global Affairs Canada, and an entrepreneur called Michael Spaver.
Call them what they really are, George. 2 fucking spies.
Yeah, I don't think so, and you'll see why. So Justin Trudeau has since been heavily criticized by his opposition for his lack of leadership and any firm action towards China. A recent poll actually suggested that 80% of Canadians think that Canada should speak more forcefully against China's defiance of international rules. Also, very recently, a group of senators has been pressuring the government to impose the Magnitsky Act, which allows the government to impose financial and other restrictions on foreign nationals responsible for or complicit in violating internationally recognized human rights.
Goddamn
the law
foreigners.
also allows the government to freeze assets owned by foreign nationals and prohibit financial transactions by known human rights abusers. So now, in a strange twist of events, however, this week, 19 high-profile Canadians signed a letter pressuring Trudeau to consider a prisoner swap with China. So some of these signatories include former Supreme Court Justice Louise Arbour, former Liberal and Conservative Foreign Affairs Ministers Lloyd Axworthy and Lawrence Cannon, former Justice Minister Alan Rock, former NDP leader Ed Broadbent, and certain former diplomats who are essentially calling on the current Justice Minister to exercise his discretionary powers and to end the extradition proceedings, saying that, and I quote, "The time is past due to end the Meng proceedings and to bring the two Michaels home," end quote. And that quote again, Canada's foreign policy is being held hostage, end of quote.
Basically, to sum it up, George, because now you're turning into a fucking audiobook, what people are saying, they're pressuring the government to swap our prisoners with the Chinese prisoners so that we could help the Canadian prisoners bring them back home. We're like, we don't give a shit about this Chinese guy. Give him back.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it's big. This news is big for this letter because these are really high-profile Canadians suggesting to do this, which actually shocks me. And, as for the Chinese, they took note of this letter. And this week, a spokesman of the Chinese Foreign Affairs Minister said during a press conference that the issue with the Canadian prisoners could be resolved if Canada were to end Meng's extradition process. So this is the first time that a senior Chinese official admits that they are holding the Canadians hostage and that they would barter them for Meng's release. Okay,
yeah. But we
just
knew
following this letter. Of course we knew, but this is the first
yeah.
time. But they never said that. They always said that, there's some criminal activity and there's suspicion and so on and so forth. But now suddenly, once the letter comes out, you know what? We could resolve this issue if you were to end this extradition proceeding. So here's where I respect Trudeau, though. Even though he acknowledged the weight of that letter signed by all those high-profile Canadians, he still refused to give in to China, and I agree with that. Accepting the prisoner swap would simply mean letting China just simply walk all over us while neglecting principles of law.
Can I say something? Can I cut you off there? Because I just became enraged.
Yeah.
Trudeau has been letting China fuck us in the ass for the longest time. But right now, when there's a human life, 2 human lives at stake, 2 Canadian citizens, this is when he decides, "No, bro, me, I'm too tough. You stay there in that jail. It's not my problem." Are we fucking joking? Are we? This is when he decides to be a tough guy.
Yeah, but look, there's a lot of things to consider. If perhaps he just decided to wake up, then fine, he just decided to wake up. But here's what you need to consider. First of all, what's to say that in the future, if China wants to gain leverage again over Canada, they don't start randomly arresting other Canadians, all right?
Yeah.
This can take a very important precedent, all right? And not only that, any move right now to end Meng's extradition proceedings would completely destroy our relations with the U.S. So I'm actually shocked.
Yeah, I don't know how good those relations are anymore. But also, your priority as a prime minister should be the citizens. He works for us. There's 2 people that are in jail in China right now that are like, why the fuck have I been paying taxes my whole life? I'm in prison in another fucking country.
Yeah, but George is right, though.
I understand that, and you have to be sympathetic to those people's families here in Canada, but at the same time, it's much larger than that. You can't just bend over. And I agree with you 100% that suddenly you just woke up. Yeah, okay, suddenly you just woke up, but it's the right thing to do. And I'm shocked how these high-profile Canadians actually sat down and signed this letter. And you know what? I actually agree with the group of senators that wants that says that what we must do is to actually take a harder stance and perhaps apply the Magnitsky Act on the Chinese officials. So, we've spent quite some time criticizing the Trudeau government, but on this, I have to say, I agree with the guy 100%. And I understand where you're coming from, Pantelis, but it's no longer a delicate position where you can say, you know what, we want our Canadians back home. Yes, everybody wants the Canadians back home, but at what cost, right? So this is just high stakes poker. And I don't know where that letter comes from, and I don't know who even suggested and who rounded up those guys to sign that letter.
Some Chinese corporation that
funds
their pockets.
You guys, I'm just saying that he's supposed to serve the people, and there are 2 people in jail though right now in another country that have done nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I won't say this often, but I'll say it this time. I'm 100% behind not trading. Think about George is right. Think about the precedent.
Let me ask you another question, Phil. What did the Huawei guy or girl? What is it finally?
What
did they do? What did they do against?
She's accused. Basically, the U.S. the U.S. had
Espionage,
intel
no?
on her sending funds through Huawei's accounts or whatever to some terrorist cells in Iran, I think, or somewhere in the
Okay.
Middle East. I'm not
So
sure.
she broke U.S. law, let's say.
Yeah,
Technically, it's international law, but yeah.
No, the U.S. is the only one that's pissed about it, right? So she.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is she broke a law in another country, and this country here is using our guys over there as like a barter. It doesn't make it. I'm just saying for us, if she got arrested in the States, it's a different story.
no. They arrested her here in BC.
Exactly.
But we're an extradition country.
Yeah,
We have
so
treaties.
they received a request, an arrest warrant, I guess, from the U.S. So the Canadian authorities arrested her, and now there's proceedings happening to extradite her to the U.S. where she can get tried. But you see, here's what's funny.
So
man.
would you be willing? Let's just say hypothetically, would you be willing if the second we extradite, so we escalated, we gave her to the States. So then China also escalates, and they go, well, these two spies, quote unquote, are getting the death penalty. So would you be okay with them getting killed, but her getting extradited?
But that's why I think it's been taking 2 years for the extradition proceedings
Because
right?
they don't want to kill them. Now,
yeah,
but I'm saying, would you?
time.
Because so far you said you agree with him. So if right now next step is the way he's going, he extradites, and those two guys end up getting killed, will you still think that this was a good idea?
I think that they're not going to proceed as quickly as we think towards the extradition proceedings. I think they're taking their time.
I'm just saying if everything would go smoothly, Trump's like, yo, let's go extradite, help me out, we're buddies.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest with you.
I'm saying if it does, Don. I'm saying if we continue on this path and it does, and the risk is those two lives, is it still worth it to you, this decision? That's the way I'm thinking. I'm thinking about a worst case scenario. Are those two innocent Canadian lives worth it? No.
I don't think it's worth it, but that's why I'm thinking that they're taking their time so that they can resolve this diplomatically. They're going through every channel that they could to get these guys back home. This here is
Are the
latest
Chinese
thing.
doing anything to try to disprove or try to explain her actions?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. No.
Do they have any evidence to support espionage for the Canadians?
Who, us or
Not us, the Chinese. No, I haven't seen any.
No,
They're subverting our democratic process. That's what they're doing.
Yeah,
Who the Chinese know that they're not. They know that they're not.
I haven't read anything coming out of China to disprove the allegations.
They know that they're not spies. They're doing it. It's one of those fuck you.
That's what I'm saying. So if we trade them, then every time China wants something, they can just pick up two Canadians that are traveling in China, and we're back in the same situation.
But it's always been like that. It's been like out the States too. Whenever the States want something, they go out and they get it. There are certain things that suck about international law and that suck about big countries, bullying other people. It's the way of life, but your priority should be to protect your people. And Trudeau has shown on how does it endanger more Canadians? If China wants, they could do whatever they want right now. It's not going to endanger more Canadians.
But if it doesn't, if
anything,
China does this and fails.
But if anything,
bad plan.
It'll make our relation with them a bit stronger. They'll be like, all right, you hooked us up last time. You know what I mean? It'll make our position with them stronger in the future.
I'm not sure about that.
I don't know about that. That's a very simplistic approach to it.
I think
that's a simplistic approach. Okay.
The message it shows is that look, whatever you want next time around, we're ready to move.
But we've always been doing that. Canada's always been doing that, and now there's two human lives at stake, and this is when they decide to be like, no, I'll risk those lives. I don't like it. I
don't like it either.
If Trudeau said, look, we're replacing, you give those two prisoners and I'll take their place, then I'd be like, all right, this guy's a fucking man.
That's a great suggestion.
Yeah.
That I like.
Yeah. Look,
George, call him and see what he thinks.
Let me call him right now. No, look, I think for once he is making the right decision. It's not easy deciding what is more important and what carries more weight. But in terms of your positioning and in terms of the message you're sending, swapping, I believe, is a sign of weakness.
Everything is done
like you said,
the wrong
there's
time.
very little you can do against China because they are such a superior country when it comes to pretty much anything, right? I mean, how can you hurt
industry,
China?
Military?
You really can't, right? And already China has imposed sanctions on products coming from Canada. Like
plus,
pork.
imagine if we start competing in spelling bees or math quizzes. We're fucked, bro.
Exactly. Anyway, we'll see how this develops. I happen to be on his side on this. We'll see how it goes. I guess.
You know me. I'm also. I don't want to get pushed around by any country. So I understand that aspect. But for a guy that's been getting pushed over to now decide when it's two other people's lives at risk.
Yeah.
That this is when that's what bugs me. If the whole time his stance has always been, no, I'm strong, I'm gonna do this. Different story. It's like, look, that's how he is. He's very strong. He wants Canada to be strong. But to bend over for everything, to fuck over cities, the real estate market, doesn't give a fuck. Let's try to do whatever they want in our country. And then now when there's two lives at stake, now he's like, actually, I'm a strong leader. That's what bugs me. Honestly, that's what really bugs me.
If Trudeau is watching, like hypothetically, if Trudeau's watching this right now, I'm sure he's just like, come on, you've been up my ass for fucking 2 years about being strong. I fucking did it. I did it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What if they just sent another random Chinese lady over? Do you think they'd notice?
Contrary to popular belief, Poseidon.
That's a great idea. We'll get on.
They'll never know. Justin.
Think about
No, because they're just Justin. No, they could tell the difference. No, they can't. I can't. They can't. No, Justin, you understand? You can't because clearly there's some racist shit going on here. But they look different. They look absolutely different. No, they don't. Yeah, he's doing this. He's doing this. Everybody is pulling their hair. They're like, he's gonna get us all fucking killed. He's gonna get us all.
All right, let's go over to municipal stuff.
Okay.
I read.
What did she do now?
So I read this week. Okay, I came across an article. In
I
the
went
Parc-
nuts. Yeah.
Local paper. It's called the Parc-Ex Extension News. That the local station has been secretly planning on closing down and relocating officers to other police, to other division headquarters. So this comes as a surprise, not only to the officers themselves, who were only made aware of this on Thursday, but even the residents and the municipal councillor, Mary Darrows, who weren't even consulted whatsoever. So needless to say, that neither the mayor of Montreal nor anyone at the Montreal police have made any public statements. This is really incredible. I don't know about you guys, but
Parc-Ex not having a police station to me is ludicrous. There's so many people. It's such a dense fucking area. There is crime.
I grew up in Parc-Ex at a time where there was no police station. And this is exactly my point. It is one of the most densely populated districts in Quebec. And, you know, you guys were probably young to remember when the station opened in Parc-Ex. I think it was in the 90s. But it played a crucial role in significantly reducing criminality. You know, Parc-Ex isn't perfect now, but let me tell you that it's far from being what it was in the 80s or 90s when I was growing up. And it definitely isn't what it was in the 70s from what I've been told. All right. So the crazy thing here is that in this situation is how such a present and active public institution can just pack up and leave without any explanation or justification. That's what I find incredible.
Is it possible there was a rent increase? Because I think new owners bought that building, from what I know.
That's because look, they've moved already 4 times in Parc-Ex, mostly in the past due to high rent, but they figured out. And if it's a question of budgeting, the city of Montreal gives you whatever, like allocates the whatever funds necessary to get you to move wherever the hell you want, because the police station is almost mandatory in this district. So I just don't understand how they can just abandon their core responsibility that they took an oath to serve, you know, as if it's no big deal.
I don't know, one of the cops told me that the new owners of the building are assholes. That's what he said. That's what he said. Like, I don't know if you met them or if you heard, but I don't know who the owners are. I don't know.
Look, maybe that's the case, but the responsible thing here to do is just to find another location and move, man. I mean, you know,
yeah,
there's
but
not
where
only
in Parc-Ex? You know what? Right? Actually,
I have 2,800 square feet here that I could sublet if they're interested.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the bar downstairs will be happy having the cops upstairs.
That would be fucking hilarious. They just keep going down, beating people.
Anyway,
the article seems to have a good relationship.
The article, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they don't want to be upstairs because it's too hard, up and down, up and down.
Yeah, they get tired. I know.
And exercise, no. So the article suggests that there is a possibility that they merge with a station in the neighboring district of Villeray, but I still don't think that's a good idea.
It's a terrible idea.
You know, I just think that there are certain districts in Montreal that have to absolutely have a police station. And, you know, Parc-Ex is just one of them, especially seeing how this area has changed dramatically in the 5-6 years, you know, within 5-6 years. I mean, we've seen an increased popularity of the area. There's a presence of a university campus. There's a bigger influx of people passing by or even living in the area. There's more commercial spots. There's younger families, et cetera, et cetera. So this move just absolutely makes no sense at all. I've actually tried to reach out to Mary Darrows, who's the municipal councillor. I haven't been able to. I just want to see if she has any news or any explanation whatsoever.
I almost crashed into her car the other day.
That's funny.
On purpose?
Yeah, no, she was fucking blocking the fucking road. I had to go. I was about to start yelling, and then I saw her in the car. I go, nah, okay, fuck it. I'll let her off the hook this time. So what the fuck are you doing? She's just reversing her. It's just crazy shit.
She's the king. She's the queen of Parc-Ex. You know.
What do they call? What do they always call her? The Southeast Asians in the neighborhood. Mayor of Parc Extension. Yeah. They think she's the mayor. They think she's the mayor. It's amazing.
Yeah, the same way they would call my boss the minister of Parc-Ex. There's a ministry. There's a department in Quebec. It's the Ministry of Parc Extension.
Yeah, le ministère de l'extension du parc. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But look, she actually did come out publicly reiterating that she had absolutely no knowledge of this move, and that she is as shocked as anyone else. And obviously, she finds this unacceptable. She has called a meeting with a commander of the police station, and I hope there will be some sort of consultation with the residents of Parc Extension. I'm just curious to know if this comes from the station itself, if this is an internal decision of the police station to just move for what reason we don't know, or if it's a funding issue from the city of Montreal, because this isn't the only.
Are you thinking they defunded the police, George?
I'm not saying that they're defunding. Maybe there's a strategy to centralize, because the same thing happened in NDG, right? And people are almost up at arms over there.
It happened. You guys grew up in Parc-Ex, but I didn't, right? I grew up in Côte-des-Neiges, and it's not Parc-Ex by any means, but it's
still bad.
Not anymore. It was very bad. It had university campuses, lots of metros, very, very dense. I think it's in the top 5 most low-income neighborhoods in at least Quebec. I don't know about Canada. But in the 90s, when they took the police station from Côte-des-Neiges and they moved it 6 kilometers to the west to also serve NDG, fucking neighborhood went to shit.
Yeah.
Because there was a constant police presence, and it was necessary at the time. There was rival Russian and Jamaican gangs chopping each other up with machetes in the 90s.
It's called the good old days, Phil.
I used to hear gunshots at night. It was the good old days. Everyone got along.
I hate your microphone, Phil. Every fucking Saturday.
I honestly don't fucking know what's happening. I don't understand why this happens.
I'll just give you a USB mic.
It is a USB mic.
No, it's not. Aren't you speaking to the Zoom?
Yeah, and it's connected as an audio interface.
Yeah, no, it's you're complicating. I'm gonna give you a straight up USB mic.
I don't have fucking podcasting equipment. I have high level film equipment. It's not meant for this low bar shit. That's loving.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that, Phil.
No, high level because it's too powerful. It's overpowering the preamps. That's probably what's happening.
Powerful is the chair that Poseidon's sitting on. Everything else.
It's true. I've had it
power.
for years on top of it. It's also a very resilient chair.
I bet it has good patina.
But Phil, what he said is an example to think about, George. Also, me and George, both our parents live near the police station, so I felt safe. So now it's what the fuck?
Absolutely. And look, I actually hated the fact that they were there, because at some point they but they took over all the parking spots.
Yeah, they still take over in the morning. In the morning, I get really pissed off.
And this didn't happen straight off the bat when they moved there. It was progressive. From one day to the next, you saw no parking sign reserved for police. I'm like, what the hell is this?
The best is if in their reserved space, even though there's no car, you park for 10 seconds because I'm dropping someone off. 10 seconds.
Right away.
They come hey, you have to move. I'm like, you could see that I'm fucking dropping. And there's always an argument. I go, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna fucking do? I'm dropping someone off. What are you gonna do? And it's just the whole thing.
Yeah, but no, honestly, I you do appreciate the fact that they're there, and for my parents and even us growing up, the fact that they were so close, they were literally just next door, it was very important, and I think in general for the district.
Poseidon, did you just vomit on your hands? What'd you do?
No, I can't stop coughing. I don't know why.
COVID.
Well, you're staying home.
So those are the news. I don't know. I hope they resolve this issue, because it's hard to imagine Parc-Ex going back to what it was, in the 80s or 90s when I grew up.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think so. I think it's
That'd
changed.
Be awesome.
It's changed demographically to the point where you don't have that kind of presence anymore. But
maybe they're just getting ahead of the problem, because with the gentrification, so you see Parc-Ex has changed. You said it, right?
Yeah.
There's all these younger. Defund the police type people coming into the neighborhood.
Not only,
They're also starting. What?
I could tell you guys the truth right now, but I would be labeled a racist. So I will defer from talking any further. But it's not the simplistic view of its gentrification. It's a different neighborhood is insane. That'll come from someone that hasn't actually walk those streets and understand where the
Oh
neighborhood is now.
no. I'm not saying it's happened, but like the same people who are fighting gentrification in Parc-Ex are the gentrifiers.
Exactly.
They are the tip of the spear of every time they come to a neighborhood, they're like, yes, we got cheap rent because of all these poor people. And everyone's like, oh, look at all these young white professionals. Let's increase the rents. And they're like, we hate you are the gentrifiers.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe the police are just like, fuck it, let's not deal with this. They're gonna start calling to defund us anyways. Let's just get out now and get a good rent somewhere post-COVID.
But they're not even going that far. They're supposed to fuse with the one on Jerry Park.
It's far.
No, I read?
It's far.
In Villeray,
pretty
but
far.
still, man,
It's far. It's far.
It's far.
It's far. When something pops off and
think
you
about
could
it.
you could
Think
drive
about it,
anywhere in
Poseidon.
Parc-Ex in 2 minutes, as
Yeah, yeah.
opposed to 7, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, like
Poseidon, the car leaves from Beaumont and Gillespie. How fast can it
Anywhere.
make to like Saint Roch or anywhere?
You can get to Liège, bro. If you're a cop and you have the lights on, you don't have to stop. Bro, at a minute and a half, you're
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. Yeah, I see what you mean.
But to from Villeray, go all around the park. You know what I mean?
they drive through the park. They're like, boop,
Yeah,
boop.
yeah, through the fence. And not only that, guys, because I worked with both these police stations. There is no space in Villeray. In fact, a few years ago, the Villeray station was willing to move because they had no space over there, and they couldn't find
it's a
anywhere
big
in Villeray.
station, too.
So it's not. It's small. It's puny. It's that little. Yeah, it's that little chalet in the middle of a park there, and they have like a little section. I don't know if you
I
see.
always thought I know what you're talking about across your old office. I thought it was huge though. I've never been inside.
No.
Oh.
Well, it's huge. I mean, it's not big. It's I don't know if it's small, but it's like a little chalet in the middle of a park.
Yeah,
It's
it's
very
not.
nice.
It's basically it's like a banana hut. Every time I pass by the police station, I laugh. It's just a little hut next to it. There's a children's swimming pool almost attached to that police station. It's a joke.
Oh yeah.
I think back in the day, it used to be the locker rooms for the pool. I think.
Yeah,
if I'm not
exactly. It's a
Oh, that
fucking
makes sense.
joke.
It
Yeah.
looks like that. It does
Yeah.
look like that.
It's a joke.
So these guys a while back, they were planning on moving because they didn't like it. They didn't have enough space, which actually
No
makes
shit.
sense. So
There's a
how
police
are you
station
gonna
in a
merge-
locker room where they're just yelling, "No diving!" And
Yeah, so how are you going to merge these two? Honestly, where are you going to put them? You know, it would make sense if the Villeray came to the Parc-Ex one. That would make sense.
yeah, it's big.
Because
Yeah.
out
And they
of-
take over another floor or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But for the Parc-Ex station to go there, what?
Yeah. There's more to this, but I'm gonna make a private
Oh,
prediction.
We lost Poseidon.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna make my private prediction to Poseidon, and let's see if it pans out in a couple of years, and see if I was right.
Yeah.
If they leave, I have a private prediction to make. Yeah. What happened to
By the-
Poseidon? Did he just bounce?
I
Say,
don't
"Fuck it,
know.
I'm done."
I think he's choking up a lung right now. The COVID is coursing through his blood and veins.
Oh, Covido.
El Covido.
All right, Poseidon.
I think it's just the weather. Everyone's a little fucked up right now. Everyone's like, oh, I got the COVID. Even I feel congested.
All right. So G Funk, any other news to share?
That's it, my friends. So, I was gonna say my guys.
My guys.
Later, my guys.
He's my special guy.
All right. Well, then you know what, G Funk, you keep it gangster. I know you got work to do. I know we kept you 10 minutes later than what you wanted.
Yeah, I gotta go.
But,
so,
Now he's gonna get spanked.
are you okay, Pantelis? Poseidon?
He's
I'm fine.
gone.
No, I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's back. He's back. He looks like he had a good coughing session while he was gone.
Yeah, Poseidon, what the
Yeah.
hell happened, bro?
There was something stuck here,
In your
so I
asshole?
guess it's out now.
Stuck where?
Let's just move on.
Probably a pubic hair.
Oh shit, your dad was over.
No.
All right, well, George, thank you so much for the Saturday morning news. I'm gonna go over to my two buffoon friends, and we're gonna have a three monkeys situation where we talk about nonsense.
There's more people coming.
So George Chadrizos, check out the Backstage podcast. Check out the description. The link of his website is there. You go there and you could find all his social channels. Subscribe to the podcast. He's got new guests every week talking about all kinds of political related nonsense. Thank you, George.
Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.
Later, George.
Boom. Here we are, gentlemen.
Oh.
Yeah, back in the
Stuff
morning.
now.
Yeah, morning stuff.
Okay, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah, what the fuck's wrong with your camera?
Go get tested.
Yeah. Get tested, Poseidon.
So what fun stuff are we talking about today?
So, but honestly, the whole Parc-Ex losing
Yeah.
its police station thing is a little stupid, I think. Like,
It just
that's
seems
not the neighborhood
random.
to get rid of this fucking police station.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a fucking financial thing and it's temporary and they just were trying to do it quiet and make it quick. I don't know.
But if whatever the reason is, you don't think it's crazy? Like, of all neighborhoods,
I think that a lot of the people who are screaming defund the police are now moving to Parc-Ex. And maybe the mayor, maybe now they'll be like, oh shit, it just clicked in my head. They're like, oh, they're gonna start calling for it, so let's leave as they come in, and let's wait for them to call us, because they're gonna start calling.
Oh yeah, they're gonna start calling.
Those are gonna be the first people to get robbed.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you see my Instagram story?
I didn't.
The guy who got shot in the Chaz
Oh, he's
autonomous
suing,
zone.
yeah.
He wants to sue the police for not going to the. It's like you guys
yeah, I
had that
saw
autonomous zone. You said you don't want the police there, and then you get shot. You're like, well, where the fuck are the cops? Such
Well,
dummies.
what are the details there? Was he part of Chaz or he was just crossing through?
No, he was part of Chaz. They
was?
kept fighting. Well, what happened is a lot of people joined Chaz, and obviously there's a power vacuum. There's a power vacuum. People are like, holy fuck, an autonomous zone, no rules. I'm gonna take over. Do you know what I mean? Everybody wanted to be the tough guy.
I'm Lord of War.
Yeah, and that's what happened. You get into fight and then you get shot. And then they complain. They're like, this can't work. This isn't a real society. Yeah, dummy. We try to tell you. That's not how it works.
told you that.
A society is
3 episodes.
complex. Like all the stuff we do, like everybody's like, it's simple. I just declare independence. Everything's going to work. This is years of infrastructure.
You know, we talked about it, but we never talked about it on the show. The easiest way to end Chaz from the very first day was stop taking out their trash in the summer.
Yeah.
Because the city was still, Next thing you know, it just smells like shit and everyone's gone.
The best is when they first started, we don't fucking need you. And then it took a day and a half, I think. They put signs out. We need people to bring us this, this, and this. And there was lists, energy drinks, water, food. Whoa, bro, you're autonomous now. You're independent. You figure that shit out.
Well, they can do trade, I guess, if they want to.
That's like a deadbeat son being like, I'm fucking moving out to the attic.
Where's my trust fund?
To the attic. Moving out to the attic. It's my house. I'm still coming down here for breakfast, though. I'm still using this fridge, but
But I'm independent.
yeah, it's shit. It's honestly it's shit like that.
Yeah, it's teenagers.
So I saw that.
By the way, so this guy in the chat, Eric, check. I transferred you the $20, dude. It's cool.
Oh, what happened?
He's saying my mic isn't as bad as you say it is, and he wants the money that I promised him for saying
Oh
that.
yeah, he's on
Yeah.
Phil's payroll.
Yeah, the password is 555 Poseidon.
555 Poseidon.
That should be the fucking name of his show. 555 Poseidon.
Oh.
No, in bed. So there is an in bed with Poseidon today on Patreon at 4 p.m.
Yes.
I've never watched that.
It's a weird. You have to watch it live in order
don't
to
want
enjoy
to.
it. You have to watch it live and interact with him. It's getting weirder and weirder. It's turning into something. I think when I
do
build,
that. I do that in real life, and I don't enjoy it that much. And we're not even in bed, so I don't know Poseidon. No offense, but I don't think I'll be tuning in.
I'm gonna.
He's like, no problem, bro. It's fine. It hurts me.
So the Patreon, like as if it doesn't already kick ass. It's gonna get really good soon. Also, for Pantelis Live. So a lot of people on the Discord were saying stuff like a long time ago, and then I just ignored it because I didn't know how to do any of this. Now that we have the new equipment set up and all that, we're gonna start taking in on Pantelis Live calls from Discord. There's
Oh shit.
there's a like a room, a phone booth. You could put people in the waiting room, and then line one, and then bring them in, and all that stuff they're setting up. So people on Discord who are also on Patreon at any level, even the smallest one, the audio one, are eligible. They could to phone in. So it's gonna be like a radio show where people could phone.
Oh man. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
a shit show.
Well, no, it's not gonna be a shit. Everybody's like, your fans are animals. My fans are fucking cool as shit, bro. I don't know what everyone's talking about. Sometimes they fight with certain guests because guests act stupid, but my fans are pretty cool. So I think that's fucking exciting. I think that's adding a new dynamic, and I think that adds an extra layer
fucking great.
of value to the Patreon. It's like, okay, hold on. So I'm winning fucking merch. I'm getting shit early. I'm getting so many podcasts, French, English, and I can fucking call in and shoot the shit on Sundays. Well, this is fucking cool as shit. Forget Sirius
pretty
XM, bro. We're wait to see what I'm planning.
Pantelis XM.
Well, it's gonna take a couple of months to get. Well, not for this. I'm gonna start from tomorrow the calls. But I mean to get all my plan. You know my plans, Phil. You're aware.
Yeah. I know your plans.
To get everything in motion. But I'm working on a lot of stuff. I figure if people are investing their time on me, their money on me, this and that, I might as well do something unexpected.
God damn, what happened?
You switched
Oh,
camera.
shit.
Hello, Phil.
My camera. I forgot to plug it in.
So the battery died. It's fine. You look good.
Yeah.
You're fine.
No,
like this.
I can't stay on this fucking angle.
What are you talking about? It's fine. Look at you.
Give me a second. Give me a second.
You
Give me a second. Just I don't know. Have a really in-depth conversation with Poseidon about something.
He was on the Phil BJ
In depth.
with Poseidon. Go. So
But yes, very exciting things.
very exciting things. I got some. I'm gonna tell you something after Poseidon. You're gonna something I realized, like I had to do research before I promise it to you, just to see if, because I didn't want to lie, and then you're gonna be like, oh, you promised me this, but you're gonna freak out. It seems, and
Really?
yeah, when people, I'm gonna tell people after once it's all done, they're gonna be like, what? That's fucking sketch in a funny way. Like something happened, and something's gonna happen that it seems like we're literally living in a sitcom, you and me. Yeah, I'll tell you right after this, but I won't ruin the surprise for everyone else. It's gonna have to come out in a video, maybe 2 drink minimum or something. It's really funny though. They're gonna appreciate it. It's yeah, it's it's unheard of. Like the odds of that happening is something crazy though.
Am I in trouble again?
No, you're not in trouble. It's just something
okay.
hilarious. It's something hilarious.
Okay.
But only real fans, only 2 drink minimum, Pantelis, only they're gonna get it and be like, get the fuck out of here. That is wild. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited.
Yeah. So the for people asking about the borders, this is an interesting thing about the government here and how dumb everything is working. So it is illegal right now to cross. We can't drive to the States. We can't take a boat to the States. We can't take a bus. However, this is not even a joke. We can fly to the States, which somehow is safer and less contagious than being in your own car. It is ridiculous. So Abba went down to do Andrew Schultz's podcast, and he took videos in the airport, this and that. But he also asked, like, because when it was empty, the customs, and there was one lonely lady, and he asked her, he goes, you don't think this is weird that it's illegal for me to go to your country by fucking boat, by bus, by car, but I'm allowed to fly there? And she was like, yeah, we know it's fucking stupid, but they keep renewing this rule every month. We don't know why they fucking do it. So it's just...
Because they got to do something.
Yeah, so I'm whatever. If I have to go down and film something or go do a show within this time, I'm gonna do it when it's worth it. Because if I fly down, when I come back, I have to do the 14-day quarantine by law. So if I do it, it has to be for a good reason. Plus, I don't trust those planes, bro. If I go, I'm gonna be all masked up.
But also, they're supposed to remove that. So no, the 14-day quarantine thing.
I don't know. No, not if you're coming from another country.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've looked at any of the maps for the States, what's going on with the virus now, but like everyone's talking about Florida and how it's like highest number of cases. But if you look at an actual map, the biggest concentration right now is in New England.
Oh, that's interesting, because it was New York.
And we're allowed to drive there. Yeah, no, I mean like New Hampshire.
We're not allowed to drive to New England. You're not allowed to drive across the border right now. You can't drive. You can't take a boat. You can't take a bus.
You can't. Oh, then I'm glad at least that the fucking land border is still kind of closed right now.
Yeah, but you could fly there.
Yeah, but Canadians who want to go to Target aren't going to fly.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Also, all of this is weird because I even saw in the news. Remember Trump had a rally? And the day after, they said the rally caused spikes and this and that. So you're telling me...
The day after? That doesn't make any sense.
You're telling me that... And no one's questioning that. So you're telling me that the rally happened. In the morning, all those people got tested, got results, and gave them to CNN. What are we talking about? Like, why are we... What the fuck are we talking about?
Lies.
Yeah,
they're spreading lies, bro.
Yeah, what is that? Like, it doesn't... I'm not saying...
What pisses me off?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not saying that it's not on the rise. I'm not saying that there's no more. That's not what I'm just saying. The way you just said it, that because of this rally, the next day this happened, is clearly not true. Unless you're psychic. You're telling me all these people went out, got tested, and gave you the results. It's fucking crazy. They don't even like CNN.
But it's this whole war on Trump bullshit. It's like the whole double standard. How they said the riots and all this. It's safe. You won't catch the virus.
Yeah, the best was here. Here, the lady said that the big doctor. She said, no, riots, protests are cool. It's fine.
The virus is racist. We've been through this. It's afraid of angry black people.
Yeah, that's what. So what the fuck? Actually,
it's like, oh no.
You remember in the beginning, they were saying we're not sure if black people could get it. It's actually, I think, more dangerous now. There's a higher death
black
rate.
Community. Yeah. I think that's because of socioeconomic conditions more than anything. That's because they're living in more. Because like per capita, there are more black Americans living in lower income neighborhoods, and they're more densely packed. And obviously, if you're living in close quarters, no, if you're living in close quarters,
I'm not talking about catching it. I'm talking about mortality rate.
Oh, that I have no idea then.
Yeah, okay, because I was like, what the fuck? Where's he going with this?
No.
Listen, if you're living in the ghetto, you are weak. You will die from the COVID. I was like, what is he saying?
Socioeconomic.
I think it makes you stronger.
Yeah.
It actually, it makes sense
I decided
also.
to remain in Parc-Ex.
Yeah, but think about it. If you're poor and you don't have access to healthcare, then you are more likely to die of it if you need a doctor, aren't you?
Well, no, because you don't need a doctor. That's only in those cases, like let's say if you're an old person that fucks up your lungs, or if you're asthmatic, if you're everyone else, they have flu-like symptoms. They don't need to go to the doctor.
Or if you have other conditions, which a lot of poor people do, I guess, like diabetes and.
Is that a poor person? Is that a poor person disease, diabetes?
I think it's really.
What?
I think it's really like prevalent in Black American communities.
You're talking about sickle cell.
No, that's their thalassemia. Sickle cell is another thing. No, I think diabetes is like a plague on the Black Americans. I'm not sure why. I've read this somewhere. I don't remember the science.
I don't know. Mike has diabetes.
I don't know, but you guys said way too many big words.
So, white people can have diabetes for sure. But if you're eating crappy processed foods your whole life, you're more likely to have diabetes or to pass it on. They're not exactly eating bio grain-fed,
Yeah, but neither is all the white trash demographic of America.
That's true, and I'm sure they have. It's socioeconomic. It's not race-based, is what I'm trying to say.
No, that's the opposite of what you said. We said it's not race-based. You said.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm trying.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say. All I can see is the fucking.
I have Wilfred Brimley. You got the black disease. You got the black sugar. No, but even Greeks. Sure, but thalassemia, I don't have. You remember in high school we got tested for thalassemia. All the Mediterranean kids.
I didn't go to a high concentration Greek school, so we didn't. But I've been tested later on in life because my wife is from the islands, and they all carry it.
Oh, me, they tested the Greeks. They tested Lebanese, the Italians. I think that was what they tested at my school, and maybe the Syrians.
Thalassemia is a type of anemia that affects people from the Southeast Mediterranean.
Yeah,
it's endemic to our people.
And if you have it and your wife has it, let's say, they say
really fuck up your kids.
You should not have kids. That's what they told us.
You shouldn't. Shit. No, it's very really shouldn't.
So then I said, wait, so if I have it, I should ask every woman, like every potential mate, if she has it, because if she does, it'd be like, this relationship ends now. It can't go any further.
Jokes aside, when I got married, right before we got married, we actually, because I know she's a carrier. It's not active though. Like Anna doesn't have thalassemia, but she has the gene. I don't have it. Like I went and got tested to make sure that we could have kids and it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah,
but it's a fucked up thing. I know people who it really fucks their lives up.
Well, obviously that'll fuck your life. Well, what's crazy is
when it's active.
You know what they told us too? This is the fucked up thing. So it's like, yeah, you're all gonna get tested. I remember they were taking the needle, they were taking your blood and stuff, and they go, we'll let you know. And then they never called. But I guess they meant we'll let you know if you have it.
Oh yeah.
But they said we'll let you know. So then, I was, hypochondriac. I was always anticipating. I was like, shit, like, what do I have? Why aren't they calling me? Like, is it a list of things? Like, what is that? But yeah, they just don't call you if you don't have it.
It's fucking weird. You're just sitting around, but all tests are like that. You're sitting around waiting for fucking tests. You're like, do I have it? Do I not have it? What's going on? But yeah, thalassemia is fucked up. It's so weird that we have our own disease, to me.
But
it's just for us.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the whole thing about like, this is racist. Is that everyone has their things.
Yeah, for sure. You know what it comes from, right? Like my understanding of it is lack of iron in diets for multiple generations. Oh. Like they didn't have access to a lot of meat in the islands on the ocean, right?
Yeah.
You got all that while you were taking a call, did you?
Did you just take a fucking phone call, Poseidon?
I had no choice.
Who was it?
It was important. My cleaning lady.
You have a cleaning lady?
Yeah, he has a cleaning lady.
Yeah.
You're one dude. How much of a
Look, I've been through this with him. We talked about it on the podcast at Tandem. It's not gonna change. He says, "Yes, I'm one dude, but why would I be one dude that cleans it? I could be just one dude, and that's it. Someone else cleans it."
Look, I'm a bit of a prima donna.
I don't know if you're
I want you to spell prima donna.
I'm gonna be honest. You look like a bit of a post Madonna.
Prima. Prima space Dona.
Prima. What? Wait, what did you say?
He just spelled prima and donna.
Oh, that's what.
It's not bad. It's better than I expected you to do.
What did you expect?
Prima donna.
Be like QPRE 7.
You're a prima donna.
Question for you guys.
Yeah, prima donna.
This is going to be a bit of a heavy question.
Why?
Do you guys think
it's about your weight?
I didn't want to say it.
Do you guys?
This is going to be a heavy question. Do I look fat in this shirt?
Are you wearing pants?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm wearing shorts.
Me too.
I'm just checking. Go on.
I stood up before, bro. Do you guys think systemic racism exists?
Okay, so you have to define that. By the way, that's what I've learned now. That's
Yeah,
why people.
define
That's why
systemic
people
racism.
argue. That's why people argue.
Yeah.
They're like, no, yes, whatever. And then you see when they actually discuss it, they're like, oh yeah, we mean the same thing. Do you mean, Poseidon, that there's a system right now, like let's say in Canada, like listen, in order to make it, you can't be Greek or you can't be Asian or something, because that doesn't exist. But
know it
are there
doesn't.
things that systemically have happened that are racist and that they push? Yeah, that's everywhere. That's gonna happen. There's gonna be just things. You know what I mean? Things that you get used to.
A lot of people define it differently, though. That's
Yeah,
the tricky part.
that's the
They
tricky
say
part.
Well, I
systemic racism.
defined
Yeah.
it. I defined it how Pantelis said it at first.
Well, no, there's no
And,
system. There's no system. Look, I don't know every other country. Obviously, there is systemic racism in countries like
Saudi Arabia.
where they say, you know,
Yeah.
you can't, like, you can't. I can't go
Russia.
there as a Greek guy and reach the same statuses as the people. It's impossible. In the law,
Yeah.
they're number one, you're number three, or whatever the hell. So yes, it exists in a lot of places, but in North America, there's no like system that goes, oh, this is the top of the line for the black man. He's not allowed
what
to be
about in
famous.
the South, though?
But that's not no. Even the South. What's the South? So tell me
Like
what the South
fucking
is to you.
Alabama.
Okay, so
Mexico.
does Alabama have stuff in law that if you have to,
Not in law. Not in law.
Okay.
Obviously, not in law.
but you have to show it to me? Because what I'm saying is
Right.
there like, so let's say if you're black in Alabama, and you made $1 million, they're like, sorry, Blackie, you're only allowed to make 500,000. The rest is ours. That doesn't exist, or you can't go for this job.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist. You see what I'm saying? But there is,
Yeah.
there's always going to be systems that you kind of like. Just look at us here in restaurants, right? Think about here in restaurants and Greeks in restaurants. It kind of became a habit for years. All my friends, everybody was doing the same thing. This restaurant, a waiter, this, it's all like that was the Greek thing, and it was all, you know what I mean? So there's no system that's forcing us to do it, but we fell into it, and everyone was doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean. I'm
Like,
not sure. Like there are definitely secret, not legal systems that exist within communities in the southern United States that will oppress people, depending on.
So,
for
but I'm
specific
saying that
reasons.
a
Like a bunch
system.
of rich white people doing stuff.
But the difference between a system and stuff just being done systematically. For example,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
We're
let's
saying
say
the same thing.
let's say black guys in the police, right? Systematically, right? There's no, they don't decide. All right, listen, how many black guys you get today? That's not the truth. But systematically, the way they've been programmed
Trade,
with
yeah.
just the society, the way it was, there was, whoa, a black guy driving an expensive car. Let me check that out. So systematically, you keep doing the same fucking thing. So you're perpetuating that. So you're teaching the other cops next to you that, oh, this
Yeah.
is what we have to do. There's a black guy driving an expensive car. You have to stop him. Then you're putting in the head systematically of the black kids, like, oh, fuck, I got a new car. I'm going to get stopped. Because I remember me every time when
Yeah.
we were young and we get stopped all the time for stuff, I knew beforehand, I'd be like, someone's going to stop me. Or, it wasn't right. I should have never had that fear in my head. I'm allowed to drive whatever the fuck I want. Yeah, I'm not doing anything illegal. I should have never had it in my
Yeah.
head. But it was in my head. But the whole thing of like the government secretly has a meeting and we're going to keep these people, like that systematic thing, unless it's uncovered, I
don't
haven't
know if
seen that
that's what
existing.
people
I haven't
are
seen that
saying.
existing. No,
I've
but
never
some
seen
people
that
are saying
existing.
that, and that's why I'm saying you have to define it. Because if that's what you're saying, then that's just conspiracy, lunacy type of stuff. There's no proof behind it. But if you're saying that we've built stuff that the system keeps turning and it's the same, yeah, of course that happens, of course. And
Yeah,
and-
I prefer the term. There's like I don't like the term systemic racism. I prefer endemic racism
oh, there we
because
go.
it's part of our culture.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for whatever reason,
Yeah.
it doesn't
That
actually
makes a lot more sense.
like it was built in a long time ago, and it's like what's the example I used the other day? Like if you're a cyclist your whole life, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you stop cycling when you're 29 years old. The second you get back on a bike, you know what to do, right? Obviously. Like your body knows. It's like programmed into you. But your body has still now taken the shape of a cyclist. And it takes time for that to wear away.
Yeah.
Like you're conditioned.
No,
it's
I'm with
conditioning.
I'm with
And
you
I don't
on
know
that.
if it's by design. That's my issue. Like I'm sure for some people they're like, thank God we got this fucking like we're not letting the black folks. do that.
Yeah,
I'm sure
obviously,
there are people like that.
But that's
Fucking
everywhere in the
people
world.
suck.
It's just when
That's
you group
everywhere.
it.
But the idea that the fact that I don't think, like I had an argument on one of the episodes of Film My Whole, like I was like, I'm not doing racist things, and they're like, yeah, but you're not stopping racist things. You're part of the problem.
No,
I'm
that's
like,
stupid
well,
too.
if I see a racist thing happen in front of me,
yeah.
I'm not gonna fucking. It's happened.
You want me
Like,
to put
I've
on a
seen people
cape and
act
go
out.
around neighborhoods as a vigilante and wait
I'm
to
not
see? I
gonna
think
feel
that's
bad
racist.
because
That's
I'm not black. Like that's
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
yeah, of course. That's
Like,
what I'm saying. That's why the discussion is important because when people throw stuff out there like an absolute, and they're like, you know, systemic, and they
I
don't
hate-
explain
I
what
hate
they mean.
absolutes.
Yeah, and they don't know, and they don't even know what the fuck they're saying. And then if you say, for example, I don't think that's the case. Like, so you're saying there's no racism? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But there's no government
straw man.
ploy. Yeah. So that's why you have. First of all, in order to have a meaningful discussion to move forward, you have to dissect these things and break them down and see where
But
the
most
issue
people
is.
don't want to.
I know.
That's the crazy thing. That's
I
why I
know.
liked the conversation that I had with Neldy, and I had it actually in the subsequent episode. Had a similar conversation with a model who is of like West Indies descent, so she's dark skinned, and she had a completely different experience than Neldy, like who I spoke in the first episode. It was interesting to hear. Like
People
color,
liked her
and
skin.
One was like, yeah, listen, it's affected me my whole life. He wasn't like crybabying about it. That's not what I'm saying. He was like, yeah, it's a thing that I have to teach my son. I have to teach my daughter. And then you have a woman who's also dark skin, and she's like, no, it's if anything, it's helped me in my career.
That's what, but
Like,
that's
it's
the-
so-
that's
it's
what
like,
but that's what
yeah,
I'm
it's
talking about.
crazy.
So let's say even that some people will classify that as part of the system of racism. Well, how come the brown girl did better than the black man? There's some kind of race. Do you see what I'm saying? So they break
I
it
know.
down because they break down people to a simple color, which is racist. It's completely illogical. How about the
it was
fact that
trending on Twitter last
But
week?
how about the fact that she was a cute chick, and your boy, just like me, is a fucking dude? Do you know what I mean? When we're talking about
Yeah.
no, because it's true. Because
He's a good-looking dude.
I didn't say he was ugly. I'm just saying
saying.
that good-looking women are always going to get the benefit over good-looking men, right? As arrogant as good-looking men think, like, I got this, you're gonna lose to a good. There's something better. Good-looking
Maybe.
people in general.
It depends what you're doing.
Well, what about
Like,
good-looking people in general? You know, there was studies done about this, that good-looking people, even if they're less qualified, end up attaining better positions in life, right? Charisma and the way you look
Yeah.
gets you further from ugly people. And I'm saying ugly like it sounds like I'm trying to make a joke. I'm insulting. I'm not. I'm saying
No, yeah.
the more physically like visually attractive you are, people respond to you better, which is normal because even when you go to purchase something, no matter what they tell you the stats are, the specs are of the thing, you look at the shiny thing. You look
Yeah.
at the most visually appealing thing. Because we're not that far off from fucking the way animals are. Do you know what I mean? We go, the pretty
I
thing.
know exactly what you mean.
So what about that? Are we going to say that has to change too? That's something
What are you
innate.
talking about? People are already saying that.
Yeah,
Have
they're
you not
yeah.
met social justice warriors?
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're
There
100%
are
right.
no like drop dead gorgeous model caliber based on the constructs of beauty social justice warriors.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
not
I
by
wonder why.
coincidence. Exactly. And it sounds like a crass thing to say, but like I was, you know, this show on Netflix right now, the 365.
No.
It's like it's this year's 50 Shades of Grey. Okay, it's about some guy
it's
who
a
kidnaps.
movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's a guy who kidnaps a chick to make her fall in love, but it's very like BDSM, like choking
Okay,
out
okay,
and
yeah,
shit
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I
haven't
actually
seen.
reviewed it in. I watched it and reviewed it with my in bed in Poseidon, but spoiler
nice.
alert, I spoil it.
Okay, fair enough. I haven't seen it. I don't care that much, but I keep seeing all these women post TikToks and Instagram videos. All these attractive women,
Yeah.
by my definition, attractive, talking about how, oh my god, I wish someone would choke me. All this like stuff.
Poseidon
And
walks
then-
in.
And then there's another camp of women that I see on social media saying this is disgusting and promotes rape culture. They don't fall into that same classification as the first category.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
interesting.
mean? Like,
So what you're trying to say is
Maybe
if
I'm just
anyone
wrong.
should be scared of rape, it's not you, lady. Is that what you're trying to say?
not even a little bit. Not even a little
Well,
bit.
because the attractive women know the difference between actual being choked to get killed and the difference between sexual choke.
Why they've all been killed?
No. They're I don't know. They know the difference.
I don't think
They
all
want-
women like.
I don't think. Yeah,
They're a
that
little
is
more,
a
they're a little
stupid.
more
s-
kinkier. I don't know.
That is
They're just,
stupid.
I'm just saying, like, I forgot how we even went down this path. Systemic racism.
Yeah, just to define. I think you need to define things properly and explain them and
Yeah.
talk. I hate this. Like in the news, what they do is they put two people, they put a general statement, and they make them fight over, and they're both wrong in the end because they're not even fighting the right thing. Because what do you want? You know what everyone wants, bro. You know what everyone wants. You want, the Irish guy wants, everyone to be able to work, build something for yourself, take care of your family. That's what everyone in these countries. That's
Yes.
the second you
know.
start blocking someone, like for example, forcibly closing down businesses, The second you start
Lynching?
well, no, I wasn't talking about racism. I was talking about the government closed down racism.
But it's also
But yeah,
something that
obviously.
can affect your business.
Yeah,
you
I
get
think so.
lynched. You're not doing a good sales day.
But that's the kind of stuff that'll stop a society, and that's the kind of stuff that's going to cause animosity. You know what I'm saying? Because in the end, unless at home they just taught you to be a piece of shit, you're like, that guy's black, you should hate him, something like that. Most people, if they grow up happily, and they're not going to think about that stuff. Like when I was growing up, it wasn't like on TV. They wouldn't do that. They would have people, different characters, like let's say fucking Captain Planet or anything, right? But they wouldn't accentuate, be like, you see this? There's a brown guy. You get it? You get it? They did, not like what Sesame Street did 2 weeks ago. They tried to talk about the whole Black Lives Matter thing, and apparently, like it was Elmo talking about how well there's black people, and then there's people who look at them differently. Don't bring any of that up. It's for kids that doesn't exist. They don't see the difference. They see a different shade and like, oh, that's cool. They know that they're both people.
The argument that I was making before was when I said that just because I don't stop racism, apparently I'm a racist. That's the same argument. They're saying no, we have to tell kids so they can be aware of it. That's one camp. But I don't know if that's true. Like
if you're in a dangerous, let's say like I grew up, let's say I'm growing up in South Africa right now. Okay. And there's some fucking tensions.
Right now or like pre-apartheid?
Even right now it's crazy. They're burning white people. They're setting them on fire. So now it's like the reverse. So if I was there now, I'd be like, listen, we're Dutch. And if I was Dutch, I'm saying we've done some fucked up shit to these people. They're pretty angry. So just you looking the way you are with little blonde hair and all that, they're going to fuck you up. So you keep your fucking head. You know what I mean? That's a different story because you're in a war zone. But in North America,
there's also like there's bad blood there. It's not just like they're singling out black people.
No, you're in a weird part of the world. But in North America right now, there's no excuse for that because literally, if someone is beating you up because of your color or whatever, in our society here, that's unacceptable. That's a zero. That's a jail thing. You should never have to have the fear. I'm walking the wrong neighborhood. I'm the wrong color. It shouldn't happen in North America. We're regressing. You know. So to tell a kid who lives in North America, look, you're different. Some people are gonna. No. Let the kids grow up loving each other. Let the kids be like, yeah, it's my boy. Like, don't let them think about that. Because me, I'm lucky that shit wasn't in me early on, so that you can't like early on. If you put it in a kid's head, you could turn him into a piece of garbage. But if it's not there early on, bro, you're gonna have a hard time convincing an adult to turn racist. It's very difficult.
I don't know where I fall on that scale. Like teaching kids that some people are racist. Like I'm not. It's
not teaching that some people. Don't tell them that they're different from other kids because they're not. The truth is they're not.
No, I know they're not. But like an adult can see a young black kid differently, a white adult. You know what I mean? Like that can happen. Between kids, probably not.
No, they can't. No, they see the color. They're not colorblind, Phil, unless they're colorblind.
No, I mean
it's not a real thing. It's like shirt. It's like a car. You take the two Honda Civics, one's blue and one's red. You're like, yeah, the difference is one's blue and one's red, but it's not. They're both Honda Civics. Nobody gives a shit.
That's not what I meant. I mean like an adult, I don't know, like a fucking teacher treating a black kid differently. Like that can happen.
That can happen, of course, yeah.
So like that kid's gonna learn about it the hard way. So maybe teaching him about it isn't a bad thing. But I completely get what you're saying. Like, yeah. It's wrong that any kid should have to act differently in society. Yeah. It shouldn't be a thing that happens.
It shouldn't be a thing that happens. Also, if there's a teacher, then you would have to be sure that the reason why that kid's getting treated differently is because of their skin color. So you might tell the kid it's because of your skin color, and it might just be because the kid's a shit kid.
He was being a dick.
Yeah. It's possible. So now the kid starts thinking like, oh fuck, people don't like me because of my skin. It's very complicated for kids. You shouldn't put that shit in kids' heads. You should let them live, grow up, be kids. Laughing, enjoying their life, create shit. You know what I mean? I
don't know.
Let them have their child. Bro, it never comes back. We're on this planet such a limited amount of time. It's so short, all of us. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, you're not getting out of this alive. None of us are, okay? It's such a finite amount of time. To waste a child, at least for a kid, a childhood, to make him nervous, let them have fun, let them enjoy themselves, love, fucking high-five each other, finger paint, because that shit's going to end quick anyway. They have to get into other schools.
Something else.
No, they're going to get into schools. They're going to get into schools. Then they're going to have to work. So all that love thing is going to end anyway. But at least those formative years, let kids be happy and let the next generation be less aggressive than what we are now. This whole cancel culture thing and your past and you made a joke that's offensive to me. That shit needs to die. That shit is like, he makes a joke I don't like. So you know what? I don't listen to his fucking humor. And it ends there.
Yeah, but think about it. We have access to more information than any generation ever did, right? Right now, like I can learn anything I want right now. I can just Google it and fucking read about it and whatever. But people are stupider than they've ever been because they're talking in absolutes. There is no discussion about anything anymore.
So yes, he
Like-
said something in the chat, and it's also kind of what we were saying. He goes, systemic racism in Canada. He goes, well, the defense minister himself was actually not even born here. He was born in India. He's like, our defense minister.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
what's his name?
I forget his name, but I remember. I
That
saw-
guy's a badass. He'll
yeah,
kill you
apparently he's a
fucking
badass. Yeah,
before
apparently.
you hit the ground.
Yeah, that's why they put him as
And
defense
apparently he's
minister.
super humble too.
Yeah, he's a cool, but
The
okay.
most badass people are.
But that's another example. That's what he's trying to say is like if the system in place does not block anyone, but there could be people that fuck around, but you can't then claim that the country itself is. You know what I mean? Because then that's where it fucks up. Because then people get
Exactly,
defensive.
yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? That's
Yeah.
not real. And then it gets aggressive. That's why you have to break it down. All this shit is
Yeah.
nuanced.
I believe the same thing. It's just I've been getting pissed off, bro, because on social media I've been seeing family members, friends, old friends that I knew, fucking systemic racism, like freaking
They're
out.
jumping. Yeah, they're jumping. They don't want to seem
But
racist.
then even a few years ago they were like, nah, I don't think it exists.
Yeah, because they saw
I'm
around them they're like everyone's
honestly-
cool. So you know what you tell these people? Anyone who's claiming like who's white and
I don't
who's
even
like you,
bother.
Poseidon, and they
They're
say
on the black wagon.
no, but if they say yeah, my whole life I've seen. Okay, so how come you didn't do anything? So you're telling me that you've been racist your whole fucking life? You've been fucking with
Yeah,
black
you're
people?
a piece of shit.
No, that's not what I said. That is exactly what you said. You just said that all white people are you're one of them. So what the fuck are you doing? So it's like, no, I didn't. Okay, did your friends do it? My friends didn't do it either. So how is it all white people? The fuck are you talking about? Like, think before you fucking speak.
You know what really fucking like grinds my gears? Like I'd go nuts. I'm a member of a group on Facebook. It's like I don't know, I think it's like 60,000 people now. It's
a
an
book
industry
club.
group for
You all read
No,
Mein
no.
Kampf once a month.
yeah. Fuck you. No, it's like a video production. Guys who work on people who work on set, and we put listings or we share projects. It's a good place to find work for contract work, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's the most PC group because of the administrator I've ever been a part of. And they constantly post stuff like production based in Montreal seeking non-binary, non-gender identifying person of color to work on commercial
You
shoots.
just described my black stapler.
Like, okay, so I don't care if you want to post a job like that. That's fine. You're saying we welcome everyone. But sometimes the white males need not apply.
Yeah, that's racist.
And sometimes there's guys who are like, hey, like that seems kind of unfair. Like I'd like to apply.
Yeah, I'm a videographer out of work. I'm
I
qualified.
need a job too. And
Shut up, Whitey.
the administrator will fucking say, I won't tolerate this kind of behavior. I'll throw you out. And the white guys are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Boom, gone.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So
That's racist.
Because I need the group, I
Yeah.
bite my tongue most of the time, but a few times I've engaged, like very carefully. And I was like, I don't understand why that's like, I'm not applying for the job because if you don't want me, I don't want to be there, obviously. Like, that does not seem like a fun time.
Yeah, no, that seems like a terrible work environment.
Yeah,
But
so-
that is still racism.
Oh my God. And my favorite line is, you had your time. I'm sorry. I'm 33 years old. When the world was my oyster and I was like
Wasn't born.
subjugating people, I wasn't born.
Also,
So
Phil,
when was my time?
again, this whole you've had your time is like my parents came here 50 years ago, bro. I'm not. Like, are you judging me by my skin color? You think because
Seriously.
of my skin color, like I'm some kind of old school British guy?
Wait, what? All film
Bro.
TV unions in Quebec are merging. Oh, fuck.
What?
Everything's going to get so expensive.
What? Hold
The
on.
chat. Gapes. I don't know what this guy's name, how to
Three
pronounce it, but I'm
TV
going to call
film
him
unions.
Gape.
Oh, Gapes. Yo, but Brodigan said, and I heard something, but I didn't look into it. Family Guy. Apparently, the actor that played Cleveland, I think he was white. So
Oh, was he?
yeah, so now he's like, no, I'm quitting. And The Simpsons announced that they're no longer going to allow people of different races to play other races on The Simpsons. Okay, so by the way, I'm going to say something right now, and remember this. So if that's
that
really
blackface?
true, because they do voices. So right now they're doing
Yeah.
voices. You don't know who's doing what. So if that's really true, then Bart Simpson, who has been being played by a woman for 30 years,
Forever, yeah.
should change. It should be a young boy. Also, all of the 95% of the characters in The Simpsons are yellow.
And not human.
Yeah, no, that's another thing. But they're also yellow, Phil. So is it some
Well,
kind of a
arguing
weird
with you.
thing where they're gonna hire Asians? Like I don't understand what the fuck they're talking about.
I wonder if so blackface, I think we can all agree is a fucked up thing, right? To do blackface for not for satirical reasons or to make a point, but just for the hell of it. To cast a white actor and paint them black is weird, right?
But that doesn't happen.
Unless
it's
you're
only
hiding
done-
from the
anymore.
predator, unless you're hiding from
In,
the
no,
predator.
in a
That's fine.
professional
That's different.
context, it's done for hilarious purposes. For example, Tropic Thunder. That was hilariously done. That was
a very
satirical.
specific instance
That was
I think was genius.
Yeah, it was genius. Also, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It was also done in genius fashion. And now they said that they're not going to re-air that episode.
Also, episode 9, season 1 of This Just Thing, most high-level blackface ever achieved on the internet.
Yeah. When I was in blackface.
When you
I
were
was in
blackface,
digital blackface. Yeah. Check that out,
The
guys.
best.
What episode was
That's a
it?
great episode. I think it was episode 9. It's called Digital Blackface.
Yeah. So check it out. This Just Thing, digital blackface.
Sad that's our strongest episode, isn't
strongest. But here's the thing. So when they did it, right, it was satirical, it was fun. But even It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, they said we're not going to air. FX said we're not going to air the episode anymore because it offends people. But that episode was literally Mac. Charlie and Mac always doing stupid shit. So they were redoing films. They were making their own versions of movies, and they wanted to do the Lethal Weapon series. And he wanted to play Donald Glover, Danny Glover. Danny Glover.
Donald Glover's Gambino.
Yeah, Gambino. So Danny Glover. And so he was like, I'm going to do it in blackface.
It's a great episode. But
they were all like, this is incredibly racist. This is a terrible idea. They didn't do it in a way. They did it in a way like he was the dumb guy that didn't get it. You get it?
And that's why they're actually making a great point.
They're making a great point. He wasn't stealing the role of a black man by pretending to be a black. Did you get it? He wasn't. He couldn't
understand.
Yeah, he's the main character in that show. It was just he was so stupid. He's like, no, we're gonna remake this. We gotta do this right. I'm gonna play
authenticity.
And they're like, this is. I don't think you see.
No,
know
but
what you're doing.
My point was like blackface in a movie. Like let's say they remade Blade. Okay.
Yeah.
They're not gonna hire Keanu Reeves and like pigment his skin. That's fucked. That'd be
that'd be insane. Yeah, but that's not what happens.
No, I know, but we're agreeing that type of blackface is wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
But
it does.
Like, look,
this is my question.
You know Eddie Murphy. You know Eddie Murphy when he went whiteface when he played the old white man in what was it, Coming to America? Which one was it? One of those movies.
He's done it a few times.
And it was one of them. If you didn't know, it was very convincing. You're like, it's just a weird old guy with weird skin. Anyways, not offensive. He's just.
What about white girls? They played whiteface the whole movie. The whole movie is a premise like.
Yeah, making fun of. It's still not offensive. I mean, I'm not a white girl, but it's not offensive.
Yeah.
I don't find it offensive.
My point is, if we can accept that what I described is wrong, like it shouldn't be done.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Like, okay, if you're a white guy playing a black actor, is that a form of blackface? I don't know. Is it?
You mean voiceover?
Yeah, like
no, because they're not real. These are cartoons. It's a voice that you're making.
Movie characters aren't real either.
No, I know what you're saying. Movie characters aren't real, but
I'm just trying to figure out where the line is.
Well, look,
even for me, I don't know where the line is.
But movie characters, it never happens. What you're saying is not true.
It happened 100 years ago.
Okay, Phil, stop with that nonsense.
Saying,
a lot happened 100 years ago, bro.
Yes.
You could go fucking 100 years ago. You could go in most villages and be like, "This is my wife now." Like it doesn't. You can't bring that up now in the discussion right now. Right now, it doesn't. There's no movies where
it doesn't happen anymore.
Starring black Keanu Reeves. Well, in the modern era, right now, what movies did they decide? Keanu Reeves a little expensive.
When was the last time they did like legitimately wrong blackface? I wonder. It must have been at least
like in the 20s or some shit. Like when they did the minstrel shows and stuff like that?
The minstrel shows? No, I mean in movies. It's been done in movies.
I don't mean jokes. I don't mean joking in movies like Tropic Thunder.
No,
I'm
I
talking
mean like
about
they cast people. Like I think it happened till the 40s.
I don't know, dude, but
I'd have to
was
look
clearly
into it,
clearly you weren't born and nobody
no,
that's complaining now was born at that time.
But what pisses me off is the hypocrisy and all this shit. Because the same people that are going to complain about Family Guy and The Simpsons and this, that, are the same people that cheer on shit like the Netflix special with Troy there.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So it's the same.
That's true.
It's the same. It's the
so
same
they say it's not good to portray that Poseidon, as dumb as he is, he actually made a very good point. So okay, I'll tell you right now. So it's the same people that are complaining. They go, "This is unfair. You should play it by whatever." Like let's say the actor should be of the correct race, okay? But Netflix also remade Our History, Troy, right, ancient Greece, and they cast Achilles as a black guy. Were we supposed to riot? Where we speak like, hey, what the fuck, man? You're destroying. We're like, all right, it's just a dumb thing they're doing. Zeus, everybody, they were black, but we didn't fucking.
There was actually a movement online. We covered this on This Just Thing, and then afterwards I followed it for a bit. There was like a petition that came out of the United States, like you're rewriting history.
And nobody cared.
It's culturally inappropriate, and that petition was called racist and silenced.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like the psychoticness.
And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? I found online, especially on TikTok, I found black people that were mad at that.
Mad
Black
at
people
what?
were
Which
like,
part?
"This is fucking retarded."
Yeah, of course.
Like,
I agree,
Which
but
part?
because
The
they're not.
petition or the
No,
show?
no, no. The
show.
The show.
Yeah.
They're like this one black guy is like, oh, wait a minute. The Iliad says, why is he black? Like, you
The
know,
Iliad fucking describes
Yeah,
him in
blonde
detail
hair.
of,
To a
of golden
T.
hair, like you have a casting call,
Yeah.
and fucking Childish Gambino walks in, and they're like, oh, it's perfect, yeah, it looks just like him.
But that's what I'm saying. This
But-
whole reactionary, everything is racist. Like you gotta.
I never watched
calm-
that series. I refused.
Me neither. I never watched this. It looks stupid. First of all, if you're willing to do that, then I know the story's gonna be shit.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it all comes. I think there's the issue here is white women are dangerous.
Maybe because if they say right now, if they announce like a new Blade, right, and they go in the role of Blade,
They did announce
Liam Hemsworth, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not watching that. That is fucking. That's not Blade. That is some
What about
Australian
Black? Would
kid.
you watch Black Thor?
But Thor isn't black. You mean they just recast him and change it?
Yeah, they just
No, it's
recast Thor,
equally.
like
It
he's black
feels
now.
equally stupid because I feel like if you're taking those you're just changing it in order to change it, just to be like we're inclusive. I don't think you're gonna put a lot of
Like
work
what
in
we
the
talked
story.
about last week, where we're talking about the Rice Krispie leprechauns.
Yeah, same thing.
And how they're three white guys. No, they're not three white guys. They're three fucking leprechauns.
Yeah, they're
Part
not
of
real.
the mythology of what, Ireland or Scotland? I forget.
Yeah, I the Irish, I think, the Celts.
Traditionally very white.
Yeah.
Very, very white. So, oh wait, can we talk about something actually?
Are they
Can we
gonna
talk about
cast?
the
Are they
fucking-
gonna
can I
cast
just
me
say
as
this?
Shaka Zulu? No, because it'll be fucking stupid.
You at Shaka Zulu. Poseidon, go ahead, because I really
Yeah.
want to get into this.
Yeah, what pisses me off also is like Blade. You guys said Blade. Like I remember watching the Blade movies as a kid, and I never once thought,
This
why
is
is he
the black
black
hero.
or
Yeah,
anything.
why is he black? I know, because it's.
I just
Blade's
saw
black.
a,
What's
a
cr- what's
vampire.
what's
that-
crazy is we went through a certain period of time where it wasn't discussed, not in a hidden way. It was just never an issue. This is the movie. This is the actor. This is this. No one was like, well, how come there's not more white people? How come there's not more women? How come there's not more black? How come there's too many black? That never. It wasn't in the dialogue. And then now I don't know what the
Now
fuck
it's
happened,
forced.
but it's
It's
forced,
fucking
and they're like,
forced.
wait a second.
forced, man.
Why are there only 3 black people? Well,
Can we
there's
talk about
four.
ancient
There's 4
aliens?
people in the movie. There should be 5 black people. Well, there's only 4 people in the movie, and like, what do you want me to do? Yeah, Ancient Aliens. That archaeologist. What did she write?
White Kanda forever, huh?
Yeah. What did she
Yeah,
write?
Ancient Aliens. So I messaged her.
Oh
I gotta
God.
find the fucking tweet. For anyone who doesn't know, Ancient Aliens is being called out. It's next on the chopping block
I think
for
we
being
saw
one
that.
of the most racist shows in history, apparently, or on the History Channel, if you will. And people are saying it should be canceled because, look, if you're saying it should be canceled because it's mostly baseless, fine, that's your prerogative. But to call the show racist, and here's why. I'm gonna find it for you. I need to find it. I'm sorry, guys. I don't have it. I wasn't ready.
No, it is funny though. It's worth it.
Yeah, I got it because I commented and I was like, "You fucking stupid bitch."
You dummies.
I demanded that she explain herself and she refused.
Well, she said
what was it?
because they're giving the credit for ancient people's work to
Yeah,
aliens.
I will find it. Yeah.
And that's racist. Okay.
So
now
what
the
she was
only
saying
people.
exactly.
If we're being honest, the only people that should complain about racism with ancient aliens is the Greeks. Because basically they're saying that all the cool shit we did, it wasn't us. It was the help of our alien friends, right? But we're not saying anything. We're like, this is an entertaining fucking show. Shut the fuck up, dummy.
Bro, all the
So-
Greeks are just chilling, having their frappe, smoking cigarettes, and laughing, bro.
Yeah, but
So
imagine,
the
that's how it
ancient
was back
aliens-
then. Back then, Poseidon, thousands of years ago, the Greeks were doing the same thing. They were smoking. They're drinking frappers and they're watching these little aliens fix stuff. Like, they're fucking efficient, these little fucking gray bastards, eh? No.
Me
And
too.
they
Me
have
too,
more
me
advanced
too.
technology than us, but we somehow enslaved them.
Yeah.
Why would we do it when they can do it?
Here, bro.
So Ancient Aliens is being called out for basically taking credit away from indigenous ancient cultures.
That's us.
I just want to state something. Not all indigenous cultures are unwhite.
Yeah.
Like the
Or-
Northern Europeans who first emerged as civilizations in the fucking, I don't know, end of the Neolithic, they were indigenous. The Pelagians who existed in the Mediterranean, they were indigenous and white. Even the fucking Semitic tribes are basically white for the
Yeah,
for
well, the
fuck's sake.
best is also Sean King. You know who that is? He's an activist. He's a white guy who's been pretending to be black his whole life.
I
he's,
think I know who that
yeah,
guy
he's
is.
still
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
it. And he basically said that we got to take down statues of Jesus because he's white and he should be black. it's white supremacy. A white Jesus is black, and he said that even in the Bible, his Jesus and his mom went to Egypt and they accepted him as their own. That means that they looked alike, and everybody knows that Egyptians are black, something like that. And then I had to tweet. I go, I think you should go look at the history of Egypt and look at that time especially, and look up the Ptolemy dynasty. And yeah, Egyptians look like me. You fucking idiot. Yeah, before the Arabs, that's what they look like.
Somewhere between you and Poseidon, like in the middle. I don't think they were black, but they were definitely.
No, they weren't black. They were Greeksters, bro. Especially at that time, and even before that, they were that region before Arabs, for example. They were even lighter. That whole coast. They were lighter skin.
They were Semitic.
Yeah,
they were like Semitic tribes. Yeah, so they looked
same thing with Carthage. Same thing with Carthage. They had all that trade. They had Italians that would move there. The Persians too. The Persians weren't as dark as people make them out in movies.
I'm not sure if they were if the Arab invasions made them darker or if they were a little bit dark to start. But if you think about the
the Egyptians, like Egypt isn't like they say Arabic. Arabic is not Egypt's language. Like Egyptians have their own language, have their own history. They're one of the oldest histories on the planet.
Yeah, but they've been the Arab culture has permeated throughout their.
But that's
culture.
what I'm saying.
But
that's what I'm saying. But before the time of Jesus, before the Islamic conquest and all that, that wasn't a thing. It wasn't there. That's like saying here we're gonna do a movie about the indigenous people at the time, like 1,000 years ago. Yeah. And all the actors, it's like me, Poseidon, Abba, Preach. None of us were here at that time. You have to get Native American. Right? It has to be Native American. Like Apocalypto, I can't be in Apocalypto as one of the. It would be stupid at the time. They're gonna. What are you talking about? I know Canada and the States right now. These people exist there. Yeah, now. At the time, they didn't. You fucking idiot.
But if you look at I always wondered. You know how you look at like hieroglyphic drawings or even drawings from like the Minoan civilization. They depict themselves as very tanned, right? Like they look really dark in those. Like the artists themselves when they depicted themselves on frescoes.
Who, the Egyptians?
The Egyptians, the Minoans, and I just wonder: is that the pigment they had because it looked good on stone? Or were they actually that dark? Is it realism? Like I don't know.
No, because even in Greece, right? If you look at our pottery and stuff, a lot of our
the pottery is a bad example.
Are orange.
Red vases.
Are orange, but even on the wall, like if you go look at like in Athens, the Athens Museum, the Acropolis Museum, where you go look at all our stuff. Some people are blue. We're not blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Some are orange. So I don't think they took. Again, they didn't have what we have now, where it's like, what's the color? They were just like, I'm just representing a person. Like they didn't have social justice warriors at the time.
Yeah, it was stylistic, right?
Yeah.
Like it was.
That's a white woman named Karen fucking walking around.
Yeah, but you know what's fucking crazy? You know what's fucking crazy about how they go race and that? What's fucked up is I was reading up on Alexander the Great and also these Spartans and that whole time of the Peloponnesian Wars and the Persian invasion and all that stuff.
Years, yeah.
And there was something that I knew but I never really thought about, and I thought about it. So I was like, that's fucking interesting. So you would think right now, at that time, the enemy, Greeks, Persians, they kill each other, they fucking hate each other, fuck that culture, whatever. That's not the case at all.
No,
in fact, people would move, like generals would be like, all right, I'm not Greek anymore. Now I'm at the Persians.
Oh, yeah.
I'm with the royal family. I like the Persian culture. Same thing. Persians would go to Greece. Same type of thing.
It was all money.
But even Alexander the Great didn't want to, because he was spreading Hellenism, he didn't want to eliminate the Persian culture. He liked the Persian culture and said that they were warrior people. Yeah, and he wanted to spread that. He wanted to integrate it so it could be stronger.
He did to some extent.
He did some, but it's fucking.
He did.
But I'm just saying it's interesting to see stuff like that where, because me, I don't want globalization. I want there to be different cultures. I like the fact that there's different cultures. If I go to India, I want it to be India. I don't want it to be like, it's Texas. That would be crazy. That would be bland. It's not. I want the world to have differences.
Go to Spain.
No, I'm saying
it's so disappointing.
But that's what I want. I want the differences, So it shows that I'm not crazy. Even in the ancient world, they saw the value of different ideas, different cultures, and the acceptance of that. So this whole thing now of everybody who's white or their ancestors were European, they want to kill everything and destroy. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
To say.
Yeah, especially to Greeks. Because we like cultures, we like different we like that existing.
I feel like growing up, not in Greece, but like as a Greek Canadian, like very aware of the fact that my culture was pretty different than the people around me. It made me appreciate how much similarity there are between cultures that share geographic regions.
Yeah.
Like Greeks, Bulgarians, Italians. Like the cool thing about being Greek is I can be thrown into an Italian environment and I have a lot in common there.
Yeah.
Because of where Greece is. I can be thrown, like the other day when we went to see that space and the guy's like, I'm Tunisian. I'm like, brother, Mediterranean, we're friends now. Like, give us a better deal. The same thing goes with, like, you know, I had a guy who was Kazakh, and they have a lot of Turkish influence in their culture. We share a lot of cultural similarities.
We're both angry at the same people, Kazakh.
Not at all. They're Turkic. They're like straight up Turkic, the Kazakhs.
I know. So is Azerbaijan.
That's true. And then again, in the Balkans, those people, as far as I'm concerned, they're other Greek people. Like, we're all the same
I don't know about
shit.
that. No, the Balkans, there's a lot of Slavs there too. I mean, the Albanians back in the day used to be the Illyrians, I think. But what happened with them is they, as soon as the Ottomans came in, you know, when the Greeks said, we're going to keep our language, we're going to keep our religion, 400 years of slavery didn't matter. Like, you know, we had underground schools, we had to keep it. They did the opposite. They're like, oh, yeah, okay, you guys got guns. What's my name? Mohammed now? Fuck, whatever you want, bro. And they lost it, and now they're trying to... And that's what happened. And now they joined. They had a big part of the Ottoman military was based in Albania. They had like a navy, I think, out of
with Ali Pasha. Like,
yeah, and then now they're trying to refine it because, like, oh fuck, we just erased our own fucking history because we were scared of people with guns.
Something very similar happened to Greece at the beginnings of conquest. Like, somehow the idea of Hellenism that existed pre-Christianity, it morphed a lot. Like, if you really go deep and you look at how people identified, like, there's this famous, it's a book called The Chronicle of the Morea, where this French guy, I forget his name, I think it's Villardouin, or...
I really don't trust it. Go on.
Anyways, he spent, like, a big part of his life in the south of Greece during the Ottoman era, just journaling and writing who he interacted with and who he spoke and what languages they spoke and how they identified, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't an anthropologist. He was just a rich guy who was traveling.
I don't trust him, but go on.
So the best and most detailed look we have at that area of Greece, which is where my family is from that time, comes from this, right? And you see that people identify by religion only. Muslims were Turks. Anyone who was Orthodox was Greek Orthodox. That goes for Albanians. That goes for Bulgarians. And there were some in the region at the time.
For sure.
There was, like, massive forest fires in the 1400s and 1500s in the Peloponnese. Like, there was massive depopulation.
And last year.
And 5 years ago, like, it happens. It's a very arid climate. So if you look at how they identified and you look at the beginnings of the Greek, like the Enlightenment, right before the Revolution, where they start bringing back the term Hellenic, they start taking on ancient Greek names again, that was a reawakening. That was a readoption of an ancient culture that we had lost touch with. But when the Europeans came to Greece to fight against the Turks, they were expecting us to be, like, walking around with togas. We were sitting on the floor cross-legged smoking shisha, man. Well,
yeah, because it was impossible to do that because we were enslaved for 400 years, bro. 400 years takes its toll on you.
But Christianity took that away from us, not Islam. We had already gotten rid of that part of the culture. But it was a natural progression through Rome, into Christianity, into Greek Orthodoxy. Like, nothing was taken. It was... Actually, it's kind of weird. It's kind of what George was talking about.
Wait, what did you say? Nothing was taken? Like, when the Ottomans enslaved Greece, nothing was taken?
I mean, culturally... By the time we got to the Ottomans, they didn't take that original stuff from us. Most of it was gone.
No, but they took what we had at that time. That thing was gone too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They took away. No. You're talking about Hellenism, like the ancient Hellenism, left way before that because we got into Byzantium. We got into our purple. I like to call it our purple era.
The purple phase. Yeah. But Christianity did major damage to Hellenism. Like,
it got rid of Hellenism. It got rid of logical thought.
It destroyed Temple. It
was
almost as guilty as Islam is today, in my opinion.
At the time, they did well, and that's not the same thing. But yeah, they did a lot. They did a lot. But anytime a religion comes and change, you have to change all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
But all this to be said, Phil. I don't know where you were going with this.
I don't know. I like talking about it.
Oh. Well,
I'm mad at the Greek church. I'm furious with it.
Well, we had, we go through phases, and then we had that reawakening. And the good thing, here's the good thing that it did. The church.
Oh, I know where I was going with
one of the reasons, though, was one of the reasons why we kept the language.
The language, yes, but not by design, by accident.
No. It wasn't by accident. And it wasn't by design in the sense that one day we're gonna fight off the Turks and we're gonna have a country again. I don't think they could tell the future. But what I'm saying is that's all they clung to because it became synonymous with the culture. just like what you said now. If you
But they also were in charge of us, the church. They were set up by the Ottoman state.
of
to
course,
like,
yeah. But it's always like you have to have a representative, and it was the church that was.
They were well paid. They were well taken care of. The church sold us out, man.
Yeah, now too, every religious organization.
You know that gate that was left open during the siege? You know some fucking priest left that door open.
No, that wasn't a priest. That
the
was
Western Gate.
No, that was a mil. Now this is different. If you want to talk about joking and
I don't know, man. The church, as far as I'm concerned, the Greek Orthodox, the ecumenical patriarchy, the institution.
Yeah.
They were like, the Ottomans, we're not doing good financially. These guys said they're gonna give us gold. Go ahead.
They didn't. They also didn't offer any trade when they came in. They came in for conquest. They came in to cut heads off and made the streets.
They had trade for years before the conquest.
The Ottomans.
They did have trade.
The Ottomans. The Ottomans had their sights on Constantinople way before 1453.
100%.
They were
100%.
saying that they were going to take it over, and no one was worried. They're like, this is stupid. He can't get past our gates until someone left it open.
Until the fucking white Europeans came and fucking raped everyone in the 1200s, and they never
it had
recovered.
nothing to do. It had nothing to do with the priests letting them in. That's just stupid shit.
No, that part.
That's
is
just
a joke,
communist propaganda type
but-
of shit.
but the-
creeping in. That's
The church. I don't know. Anyways, it's a whole fucking can of worms. I'm sure half the people in the chat are like, "What the fuck are these guys talking about?"
Yeah, no,
What
but
the
when I
fuck
talk
is a
about history, I
Constantinople?
like my best to stick to the not. I assume it was general. No. I'm saying what we have
No,
historically.
that was a joke.
Yeah, I don't want to, because then what happens is you open up a whole can of worms. Of, let me tell you how I interpret it. It's not art, bro. This is what fucking happened. Okay, so say by the way, Alexander, if he had his way, it would have been an interesting. It would have been an interesting new culture that would have evolved from that. Give it like 4 or 5 generations of that. That would have been an interesting fucking region. But the second he died, everyone's like, I'm the heir to everything we conquered. No, I'm the heir to everything we conquered. No, I'm the heir. Fuck you, bro. This is Alexandria. This is new Alexandria. This is Alexandria 3.0. You never even met Alex. All right, I'm gonna call it Tripoli. It's just like there was so much fuckery.
Yeah, but that's just people, man. That's people being fucking people.
Yeah. But that movie could have been so good, Alexander. And he fucked that movie up too.
I had high hopes for Alexander.
Me too. I was so excited.
Oliver Stones, but
Yeah,
it was okay. It was all right.
He was just
Whatever.
trying to
It
make
had some good fight scenes.
It had some good battle scenes. I like the battle scenes actually in Alexander. It's just a story. They made him this weird. They made him against what was written about him.
Yeah,
The way he was acting was different than what the historical accounts of the way he would act was, which made it weird. But also Hephaestion, where they made him his lover or whatever. And then what was it? Months later, he goes, "Oh, we misunderstood that Greeks have different words for love, and what's written here is because they never said he was erotivmenos with him. He said he loved him, like how we'll be like, oh yeah, I love Poseidon. You know what I mean? So he goes, oh, we didn't know. You didn't know how much research you do for this fucking movie that you didn't know. You're just like, yeah, he's probably gay. Like what? This is a historical figure. Like
I like that the ancient Greeks had so many words for love, just to clarify that. You know,
I'm not banging this guy, bro.
Like, buddy, I love you. You pull out your dick. I'm like, whoa. That's not what I meant. You're like, oh, my bad. We should make different words because I'm gonna keep trying to get you to blow me.
But you know what? But you know what's funny is when I was in high school, it's funny because it took years for people to catch up. It took years for historians to catch up too. Historians just kept saying, "Oh fuck, these Greeks, they just love everyone. This is fucking." It's like no, there's different types of. They're not banging all the dudes, bro. They're
banging some of the dudes.
Of course, they're banging some of the dudes. They're always banging some of the dudes. But there's nuance to that language. But yeah, he just made him. He's like, yeah, that guy, he banged him.
they had love for friendship, for sexual arousal, for family, for other dudes, for little dudes.
And
they
also
had a lot of that stuff.
What Alexander did, he took a lot of different wives from all the different places he would conquer of that culture, so that he could be like, look, we're not subjugating you. Now we're part of something bigger.
I'm just fucking your women.
Yeah. Now so now this is your queen. You know, since I'm your king, and we're No, we're not fucking your women. I'm taking, because that's how it was back then. The royal families, they would take from the other royal family. So just to extend it, to be like, you're not our slaves. You're part of this new big thing I'm creating. He was creating America, basically, at the time. He was creating that multicultural new fucking world. Yeah.
But I just want to say, man, ancient Greeks found interesting ways to say no homo before it was cool, bro.
Seriously. Bro, there's 3 different kinds of words of love, bro. I'm making sure, That's funny.
That's actually true.
That's funny.
True. Yeah, the Greek language is interesting. It's very, very specific and very, very efficient. Like as far as languages go, like English is not efficient. It's quick and dirty, but it's not efficient. Like,
English
you
is
can't
an
be very
easier
specific.
language to learn because of that too, though. That's good. That's
Yeah,
why
no, of course.
it
Yeah.
makes sense that English is the international language and not Greek, because for two reasons: it's easier, right? And also,
Easier.
but the benefit of it being like a Greek language or something similar is that you could define anything. You have in English,
Yeah.
it's much more complicated, and you have to be more verbose to properly
same amount of
describe,
stuff, yeah.
especially feelings or the
Yes.
essence of things. Whereas in Greece, there's so many words specifically tailored to break something down, and you're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what
I
that
like
feeling is.
The Greek language has an incredible ability to create compound words that don't exist that make perfect sense to everyone.
Like for what we were talking about last time. Remember years ago we were talking about kapsura.
Maybe I don't remember this conversation.
Yeah, because we were talking about the word and the feeling and how translate that to English.
I have a burning.
I have a burning.
When I pee, it burns.
Yeah, that's what it
Hold
sounds
on,
like.
what about colope though?
No, that's a different
That's
fuck, bro.
asshole.
It literally.
But no, it's more than asshole.
well,
It's
that's-
more than asshole.
But did you see how Poseidon's like? How about the way we say asshole in kid in
I'm not
Greek?
gonna try and
But
create
Poseidon,
examples.
like we're literally trying. We're actually going into something fucking incredibly cool linguistically, and you're like, I know how to say
bro.
asshole in Greek.
Asshole.
You're like the guy when they're like, oh, I'm gonna go to China. I know how to say fuck you in Chinese. Like, yeah, that's not gonna help. I don't need to know that. I'm not gonna say that at the airport.
Yeah, but you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, you can just create a word and it makes sense. I always like when I have to go like a doctor's appointment or I'm at the pharmacy or something, and I'll use medical terminology, and they're like, "Are you a doctor? Or are you just showing off?" I'm like,
No,
"What?"
you've appropriated my language, sir.
I know it just because when someone says something that's a very medical term, like even
Yeah.
euthanasia, because you said it earlier. It's
I
technically
never
a
said
medical term.
euthanasia.
You used the term euthanasia when I was talking about. Oh fuck! What was
I never
talking
brought
about?
up euthanasia today
Why do I have euthanasia on my mind?
because you want to kill old people.
I don't know why. Anyways, let's use euthanasia.
Bro.
Oh, it's because I watched Just Mercy last night with Anna. That's why. She brought
Okay.
it. Yeah, because I was saying death penalty's fucked up, but maybe they should offer it to people. Like, you can do life or you can die. She's like, isn't that just euthanasia? I was
It
like,
is.
maybe not.
Yeah, and you're
Anyway, so
helping them.
euthanasia,
Oh,
to me, is not a word that means something. It literally says what it is. I'm making it easy to die for you. Like, so it's interesting. Like, Greek, especially if you're going to study in the medical field, it's a useful language to know.
Yo, speaking because you made me think of you said you were watching stuff. What's the name of it?
I watch stuff all the time.
Poseidon, did you see? There's a show on Netflix. It's like a mini series. There's one
About?
season. It's about a girl, a Hasidic Jewish girl.
Yeah,
from-
I've watched it. It's called
What's it called?
Brooklyn.
No,
Is
it's
it
not called Brooklyn.
No, it takes place in Brooklyn.
Well, in the beginning, and then it goes to Berlin.
Spoiler.
Fuck, I forgot what the name was, but it was actually a good show. It was a little depressing.
I'm gonna find it.
It makes you anxious, but it's based on a true story, Poseidon, about a
Yeah,
girl,
she wrote a book about it.
Hasidic girl in Brooklyn, like
Unorthodox. It's called
or-
Unorthodox.
Unorthodox is called, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've actually seen a lot of people go hard against that show from the Jewish community. Like,
Really?
and how it's fucking
And what's it about?
leftist propaganda. I was like, what?
Euthanasia was a Megadeth album, and it was great. But yeah, it's a fucking good show, I guess, series. don't know what the fuck
I
you
didn't
wanna-
like it personally.
No, you don't like Jews though. You feel uncomfortable.
What?
Yeah, we know, Phil. No, but you didn't like it. How come? You thought it was too sad?
No, I thought it was. Look, I've never been a member of the Hasidic community, so I can't speak to whether or not it was accurate. I have no idea. Let's
we
assume
don't believe
everything
that,
was
but go
accurate.
on.
It felt like someone dropped me in the middle of a movie,
Yeah.
gave me no context, and then told me this really rushed account. Like, shit just happened really fast. There was no pacing whatsoever. I didn't like it as a cinematic experience. Like, fuck the content. I just mean, like, the pacing was off. The cinematography was whatever. Like, it wasn't very pretty to watch. I did enjoy that hard talking, gambling, smoking Jewish fellow.
That
He was fun.
guy's a piece of shit.
That guy was awesome. I want to go party with that guy. He's just fucking Russian hookers. And
Yeah, I didn't like
Poseidon
him.
would love him.
Yeah, I didn't
He's
like
like,
him.
I left community and now I have much fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if
What
you,
was his name?
if you track the
Yakub.
girl and you bring her back or you kill her, the rabbi will give you your family back. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, that guy was a hero in his own story. I want to see that guy's movie.
I don't know if he was. I didn't like that guy. He was very unlikable.
I think he was meant to be unlikable. But even that, how unlikable they made him as a caricature, that's just fucking poor storytelling.
Well, that's
He
who
was-
the guy
he was-
was.
he
Like
was
she's
too
talking about her
much.
life. She's talking about how the guy was. Those
Yeah,
guys
I
exist.
But nobody is that unnuanced as a character. All characters need some nuance. Even fucking Poseidon has some nuance. He has moments of clarity.
Yeah, but
And he's basically a real life character.
Not right now.
Yeah, the
No,
guy
not
had
right.
the guy did have his moments of clarity. He
Did
also
he? I
Yeah,
feel like
when-
they underdeveloped his character.
I don't know. I think you're just saying things to say things at this point. But you're being a contrarian
not at
for
all.
the sake of being a contrarian. Because
Not at all.
they when they especially after he kidnaps her, but then lets her go and gives her the gun and goes, "You decide what you want to do. I'm not gonna." Like
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
there was. I forgot about that.
yeah. They showed him in a different, and he explained like, "Yeah, I left too. I left
But
too."
it didn't
but you
really
have to
show
go
him in
back."
a different light. He was still being a dick to her. Like, maybe you're right.
Yeah,
Maybe I was too hard on him.
I think you were too hard on the show.
I didn't like the whole show. So like,
Yeah.
my wife really enjoyed it. She's like, wow.
Me, it
that's
was
so
just it
fucked
made me
up.
anxious. It made me stressed out. Like
Have you seen Uncut Gems?
yeah, I like that too.
I haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet, and everyone says it makes you feel anxious.
Oh, that movie makes you feel
Does.
super anxious.
It does.
I
Super
watched,
super anxious. Yeah.
Just Mercy last night with Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx.
Is that good?
It's an Apple original movie, I think. I watched it on Apple, so I'm not
Okay,
sure.
so
if it's an
maybe
Apple
I can't
original.
watch it. Yeah.
But it's no, you can rent it. So I'm probably wrong. You can rent it. I fucking liked it. It's the story of a black man in the 80s or 70s who gets arrested with no evidence, and they put him on death row.
Okay.
And then it's a lawyer 20 years later trying to prove his innocence.
Was he
And
guilty though?
No, he was like the evidence.
He sounds
if you-
guilty.
Look, if the movie is, because it's based on a true story, if the movie was accurate, and let's assume for this conversation that it was, I have never heard of an example of police and the DA not even doing their jobs. They were like, we have all this evidence that says he has witnesses, alibis, like 40 alibis. Another guy who
40
says he's lying
alibis?
about, he was at a party.
Okay, that's one alibi. His alibi is that he was at a party.
Yeah, but there's 40 people there who can
Yeah.
attest to that, who know
Because
him.
if he had
Like,
40 alibis, that would be suspicious. I was
Yeah,
at a
yeah,
party.
fine,
At the
fine.
same time, I was at a restaurant. At the same time, I was swimming. It's
No,
like, yeah,
no,
okay,
no,
you're
no.
lying, bro.
40 credible witnesses who say he was somewhere during the murder.
Bro, I'll
and then
get you
one-
50 that say he wasn't.
And
that they
then
did.
one guy who was a crackhead, basically, who says he did it. And then the guy recanted and said, I never wanted to say that the police made me.
Oh,
and
shit.
the judge still said he's perjuring himself. And they're like, good, we're winning. They're like, no, he's perjuring himself now, saying that he lied the first time. The first time was true. Now he's perjuring himself. And it was in the deep south, right? In the
That's
early
it.
90s.
Yeah, that'll make me anxious too. I don't like.
But
the
like, it didn't
injustice.
make sense. But they took it to the Supreme Court. Like, it's a true story. It's actually
yeah.
a very famous story.
But this is what the point I was trying to get to.
What I was trying to say was a really well-made film.
But what I was trying to get to before we change it to this, the unorthodox show. You know what
Yeah.
always struck me as fucking weird? It's like the girls like, the world out there is crazy, especially for Jews, like Hasidic Jews that are in this community, you got to be fucking careful. I got to be safe. So I'm getting my ticket and I'm going to Berlin where nothing bad ever happened to Jewish people.
I know.
I was like,
My
I don't think
first
you're
thought-
thinking this one through fucking Shalatova or whatever the fuck her name was. Like, goddamn, what are you doing?
Actually, maybe her logic was like,
Hey,
I'm gonna hide
lightning
right
doesn't
under their
strike
nose.
twice. Lightning doesn't strike twice. It's not gonna happen
or
again.
maybe I'm gonna hide right under their nose. They won't notice me.
So
She
spoiler
did
alert,
actually. She was.
She only goes to Berlin because that's the only other passport she has because she's of German
yeah.
descent and her mother is there.
Well, for the record, Phil, she had a European passport. She could have went to anywhere in Europe.
That is true, but maybe she wanted to know her mother.
Maybe.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, she freaked out when she saw her mom kissing the chick.
I saw a TikTok yesterday where someone was showing an image from like Die Spiegel or one of these German newspapers that says anti-Semitism is at an all-time record high in Germany, and the guy pops out. He's like, "Really? All time?" I died. I fucking died. Didn't I send that to the group?
No, that's
I did,
fucking
right?
hilarious.
The guy's like, "You're sure? Ever?" So fucking good.
Cause there's this time in the 40s.
You guys heard about the National Socialist Party?
Yeah.
Very
Not
charismatic
big
leader.
fans of the Jews. Not big fans.
That's
of the
actually fucking hilarious.
Jews. I gotta find that. I'll send it to
But
you
yeah,
guys.
but
It's
when
so
I saw
solid.
that, I was like, is this a parody of another movie? Like, what is happening right now? It's like, it's not safe here for the Jews. Let's go to
Tell you,
Germany.
man, if you go on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
people are going nuts about fucking unorthodox. One guy fucking held a whole online seminar about how it's all bullshit.
Yeah, you know why? Because he's in that fucking community. Like she showed. If you're in a cult, you're not gonna know you're in a fucking cult.
Yeah,
You're gonna defend it. It's like the Scientologists.
Hey,
The
you
second
can't- you
somebody
can't
talks
call
shit
the
about
Hasidic Jews
the
a
second
cult. You're not allowed.
no, but the second somebody talks shit about Scientologists, right? like someone, a Scientologist raped someone, they come out with 50 lawyers. No, you can't say this, you can't say that. It's a cult, bro. Fuck that.
Yeah. All religions are cults to some extent.
Especially the second you get into these closed communities. What do you think, bro?
That's the one thing I do like about Greek Orthodoxy. We're such pieces of shit in our own right that we don't act like a cult because we're all out for each other ourselves.
I don't know, bro. I think you had bad experiences. I don't know if it was like family-wise or whatever, but literally whenever you describe Greeks, the way you talk about them, like who did he meet? Like, is your entire history of Greeks Canadians. 50 people in Parc-Ex? Like, is that you're the Greek context? Like the philoxeno has never been apparent to you. Like you never met an actual like Greekster.
I've met a lot of
by
great
Greeksters.
Greeks.
I don't mean
Not here.
By Greeksters. I don't mean fucking Gus smoking a cigarette on San Rock. I'm talking about real Greeks, the way they are. Like
what did Gus ever do to you, dude?
He left Poseidon when he was a young child.
Oh, that Gus. Yeah, no, that Gus is not good people.
Yeah, he stole his Sega.
But he does make excellent tinfoil hats. Like they're top quality.
Like I even in Crete, same thing. I remember when I was there a couple of years ago. A guy that I didn't know, but we bonded over the fact that he owned his hotel. It was like condos, you know, the hotel rooms. And
what are they called in Greece? Rooms to let.
I don't know what the fuck it was called.
They call them in Greece.
But so he had like 4 or 5 of them, whatever. And he hooked me up because I left from the one in front. It was a big hotel and it was owned by Russians. And it wasn't like it was described in Expedia, and it was shitty, and there was all these Russians from buses that came in, and everyone was yelling Russian. I was like, fuck this shit, bro, I'm out of here. So I left, and I said, I'm not paying. I'm calling Expedia. I'm getting my fucking money back. And I was yelling. And then I went right in front. I was like, now I have nowhere to stay. And I met the guy. I was wearing my Ike wife beater. I was walking around with a wife beater, bro, like a fucking farmer in Greece.
Yeah, it's fucking Greece, the best. I don't even wear a shirt.
And he saw it. He's like, atta boy, this guy supports the right fucking team. So we started talking. It's a cool guy. He's like, look, we have a room right now. We're going to clean it. I'm going to talk with my daughter because she runs the business. If it's available or if we could kick someone out, we're hooking you up, bro. So it was available. So they hooked me up within a couple of hours. So I had a fucking place to stay. Great rate. Great. And when I left, they gave me stuff to bring home when I get back to Canada. Tea, leaves, all kinds of shit as a gift, as if we were family. And he's like, you know, whenever you want, you know, call me, whatever, we'll talk. He was telling me about his trips and stuff. He's like, you're a good guy. And he was just a cool dude. Just talking, they gave me gifts to bring back. I'm just saying that...
that's happened to me too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that Greek, the philoxenia, the real Greekster, you can't find that anywhere in the world the way they are. They're very like welcoming. Like, where are you from? And you're like, I don't know, I'm Nigeria. I want to learn about this. Come here. And then you'll sit there.
They are very curious.
Yeah, and you'll tell them and they'll be fucking excited and they'll share shit with you. I love that. That aspect, that philoxenia. That's
cool, yeah.
I love that shit. Yeah.
Look... Maybe I do have a very jaded view of Greeks, mostly Greek Canadians and especially Greek Americans, because they're in a state of cultural arrested development. They didn't keep developing; they just came a certain way and they stayed that way. And that bugs me.
You just have a lifelong feud with Olympia Dukakis. That's all it is.
I've been in the same room as Olympia Dukakis. I've never spoken with her. We almost met, but I didn't care either way.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Whatever. Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it. All right, Phil. So before we get going, I want people to remember
that I'm gonna leave right now. Bye.
No. They could go in the description. They can find Phil. They could watch Phil's brand new podcast today on Patreon at 4 p.m. Poseidon goes live with In Bed with Poseidon, live chat show. He has his topics discussed, but he's always reading the chat and speaking to people. Tomorrow, Pantelis Live is live at 4 p.m. And for all of the Discord members that are on Patreon, you're able to call in. So we're setting that up right now. We're going to see how we're going to decide the topics or whatever the fuck it is. We got waiting rooms and then put you in on different lines.
That's interesting,
patch you through.
The whole Discord thing.
Yeah, this is gonna be fucking interesting. Like a radio show, like you know how it was back in the day, like Howard Stern or whatever. You have people calling in, and I think it'll make it fun, more engaging.
I think so.
So check that out. Patreon.com/Pantelis for the Patreon. This thing didn't happen this week because there's renovations happening at the studio, so it was hard for us to record. It was very difficult for me to get podcasts out this week. I got a French one out luckily, but it was very difficult.
I had the same problem.
Yeah, it's been. But I think this week we're gonna try to figure something out to get our this thing back up and running. Yeah, we're definitely gonna try. And that's it. PantelisComedy.com for all my stuff. Make sure to watch 2 Drink Minimum. Again, if you're not on Patreon yet, get on Patreon right now. Find a tier that you're comfortable with because you should be in the Discord and chatting us up tomorrow during the live stream. Phil, anything I missed?
I don't think so, no.
No, the Poseidon69 on Twitter and Instagram for Poseidon. Check out his live stream if you're on Patreon tonight at 4 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Ciao, ciao.
He said it.
Bye.